This is Darren DePaul. You may or may not know me as a voice in some video games you may or may not be playing. And right now, you may or may not be listening to The Gaming Outsider. Roll the theme song. There may or may not be a theme song.
Welcome to the Gaming Outsider Podcast. On this week's episode, Zack, Jacob, and I recap the Game Awards that took place last week, which pretty much dominated the news. As for new games, Zack played a Western title called Westild's Law, and I put some time into a new collection of tables from Pinball FX, as well as a free-to-play app from Zen Studios that lets you play their tables for $0. Also, Paul and Sean stopped by to talk about a game called Bronana and another called Highway Police Simulator. This is the Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to the Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com. We've also got a community at facebook.com/groups/thegocast and a Discord server. There is a link in the show notes if you'd like to join right now. It is Friday, December 20th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends, Mr. Zack Parkerson.
What's up, guys? It's a dude fest in here today.
It is a dude fest. And speaking of dudes, we also have Mr. Jacob Gunderson. How you doing, man?
It has been a long time since I've been called a dude, but I appreciate it.
You're my dude.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah, Chris is not able to be here. His family is under the weather. Alyssa's not feeling the greatest either. So it is a trio of good-looking fellas. I'm excited. And if you're hearing this episode is a little bit later than usual, and we apologize. It is my fault. I got the illness this past week.
I would say it's not just your fault. I mean, it was kind of a catastrophe of events. My power went out one day.
Yeah.
You got sick the next. Yeah, it's yeah.
So we're recording this 3 days later than we normally do.
Yeah.
I was completely not my fault. I was fine.
Yeah, Jake was great. So
carrying the podcast on my shoulders over.
Right. He was just he was mechanic-horning it up over there. And whatever that means. And then but we didn't give up, did we?
We did not. We are here on a Friday night. I could be, in bed, or I could be playing a game, but no, we are
in bed.
Dude, I am
it's
officially.
A Friday night. It's 8:00. I could be in bed right now.
You don't understand. Today was the last day of school before Christmas break, so you can imagine how exhausted I am. Plus, we had our company, our school had a Christmas party at a restaurant tonight, and so we went there afterwards, and first time they've ever had a Christmas party at this school, if you'd believe it. So it was I had to go see what it was all about. They had one of the teachers did like a stand-up routine. Like
how was that?
It was okay.
Okay.
Yeah. He was pretty.
What subject did they make fun of?
It was really difficult to hear because some people just didn't really care about stand-up, so they were just having conversations. So it was really hard to hear what he was saying. But that was the most annoying part. I thought he was, and he's a really good dude. So anyway, Jacob, what have you been catching up on in terms of games you've been playing?
Oh man, so I saw that Helldivers 2 had their big update. They added the extra enemy, the Illuminati or whatever the hell they're called. I don't remember.
A whole new faction, right?
Yeah, it's a completely new faction. It's in the southern part of the map. They're almost kind of like the normal enemies are zombie-esque. They kind of just run at you and swing. It's nice to see that the community is kind of coming back on board with Helldivers 2 after the big PlayStation incident, but it is what it is. It's not going to probably get back to the same numbers that it was because everyone's got a bad taste in their mouth now.
Because you have to, sign up. You have to actually log into a PlayStation account to play it or whatever.
I think they canceled that at this point, but the damage is already done. It's too late.
Well, didn't they do a bunch of like weapon nerfs and stuff that made the community upset? So it sounds like they kind of burned a lot of their goodwill from launch.
They made a bunch of changes. I wouldn't say really early on, but it was early on enough that people got into a groove of things, and then they started changing all the stuff, and it had made people really upset that they had to find new ways of doing the things that they were already doing.
Right. Well, that is kind of weird to tweak in a PvE game, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I heard there's Killzone stuff now.
Killzone what?
Killzone? Like the old
PlayStation? I have not heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'll have to relook at that.
I was say, check in the store, man. There's some Killzone armors now.
Oh man, I'm gonna. I don't even
Yeah.
play the game that often. I'm going to buy those.
Yeah, it only hit my newsfeed because they rolled them out, and then people were upset at how much they cost. So then they said, "Our bad. The rest of the Killzone stuff will be free."
What?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I gotta go grab those.
there you go, dude.
That is one
other-
game on my list from this year that I kind of regret never have played.
Well, do the same thing that I'm doing. I've got my little marathon going on.
Yeah.
It's on sale right now, Scott.
How much is it?
I think it's $32 right now.
Okay.
Where's my little document? There it is.
I'm going to give you, Zach, the same answer I've been giving you when I've been introducing you, that you've been giving me when I've been introducing new game possibilities to you. That
Uh-huh.
backlog, man. My backlog.
There's no running from it. And multiplayer games just eat into all that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if it's something I can review, I'm not going to review it. So
All right.
isn't it sad that that's where I'm at now? Like, it's like
You should play for you, Scott.
I should.
you should. But when's our game of the year episode happening? January.
It's going to
something?
be the first week of January.
So,
Unlike everybody else that's doing their game of the year, like the week or 2 weeks before New Year's, we are waiting until the year is done. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle could win something.
Right.
could be on there.
Yeah.
Oh, the coveted Gaming Outsider Award.
Yes, yes.
I'm sure somebody out there cares, right?
Somebody
Right.
does.
But I'm trying to complete some of this year's backlog before the Game of the Year show. So I've got Another Crab's Treasure on there, Dragon's Dogma 2, Black Myth, Warhammer 40, Space Marines 2, Sparking Zero, Stalker 2, Pacific Drive, and now Shadows of the Damned. But I'm going to try to complete these in the next couple of weeks.
All of those games.
All of them. I'm
I
going to run through them.
Didn't hear Wild Bastards get mentioned on there.
There's a reason for that.
Hey, I bought Wild Bastards, so
You
it is
did,
literally in my Switch. And I've been waiting.
That
to
tells me
finish.
everything I need to know.
That it's on Switch?
No, that Scott bought it.
Oh, you get. I'm so
He's
confused.
still angry at me that I like Balatro as much as I do.
Dude, I don't know if you guys tuned into the Indie Game Awards that are run by the little people, but Balatro won Indie Game of the Year.
I did. I actually got the email about that today. So.
Yeah. And
Indie Game of the Year.
And most excitingly, Local Thunk accepted the speech, and he pronounces it Balatro.
Wait, he actually made an appearance?
He did not make an appearance, but his voice was heard.
Oh,
It was just the Joker card on screen.
that's clever.
But it is pronounced Balatro.
Do
Confirmed.
we know that Local Thunk is a male?
Or at least the voice of one. Could be an AI construct.
Oh, that's true.
You know?
That's true. Speaking of, I got my 37th win in Balatro this week.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
For you.
congrats.
plugging right
Amazing.
along. So
Zach,
have you started on any of those games that you listed off?
I just completed Another Crab's Treasure today.
Oh, you finished
okay.
it?
Yeah. It took me about 2.5 days to run through. I did not change the difficulty on it at all. It was a surprisingly hard game.
You
there
didn't
was
whip
a-
out that gat and just blast away some
No,
fools?
there is an achievement for pulling out the gun and shooting something. So now that the game is completely done, I'm gonna have to do that. But yeah, it's a really colorful game, and it seems really lighthearted. And then things start to die in weird ways. Enemies have weird ways to kill you. People start to swear.
Oh.
Like it
But-
becomes a very adultish game towards the end.
Wow.
The
Didn't know that.
the microplastics are driving everybody crazy down there.
There is a enemy that pulls out a certain longish vibrating weapon and says,
What?
I have no idea what this is, and then proceeds to try to hit you with it.
Wow. I don't
Uh,
know,
so-
Saints Row in this another grab
I was
treasure.
going to say, strap it on.
Wow. Dude.
But yeah,
shout out to
the game's got
GB. So
a
you
lot
beat
of
it.
adult humor.
So you beat it in 2 days. So I guess it's relatively digestible for a Souls like. Or you had really long days, I guess.
Put probably about 20 hours into it.
Okay, it's pretty long. Those are fairly long days. Good for you. Okay, so like 20
It's
hours.
my secret ability.
So did you like it, though?
Oh, it was great. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's definitely going to be on there as one of my top 10 for the game of the year. But that's why I
Wow.
chose this list too, because these were the games that, as the year was progressing, these are the games that stood out to me. The games that they show up in your feed a lot. People seem to be enjoying them. I wanted to play them at some point, and then I never got around to actually playing them. And I wanted to have a feel for these games going into the end of the year. So if I'm going to be voting on what games should be good, I have an idea of what a good game is.
See, I was feeling good about myself for buying Wild Bastards because it was going to be on Zach's list, and I felt obligated to do it. And here, Jacob is just like, I'm going to finish 12 games in 2 weeks.
It's only 7.
Ah,
Only know how Warhammer is.
The problem is some of them don't have endings, so I figured I would just throw 30, 40 hours into each and then call it a day.
And you said you are playing a bunch of Balatro as well?
No.
Okay.
why do you hate
No.
that game so much? Like, you haven't even played it.
There's no such thing as a bad game, just games
Oh
aren't
my
for
God.
you.
Zach, what have you been catching up on?
I've been playing Mini Shoot Adventures because it's going to be on Scott Clark's list.
See? Eh?
And this game, dude, I gotta be honest, I'm a little humbled. This game kind of kicking my ass.
Oh, really?
I find this game to be pretty difficult, which I wasn't expecting.
Interesting.
So I guess you're just better at twin stick shooters than me, Scott.
I didn't know I was better at you at any game.
Well, I'm sure there is more than just this, but I felt like I needed to let you know that you're definitely better at me than this game because I'm dying a lot.
So humble.
I mean, I died a good amount, but I mean, I never felt like overly frustrated or anything. Like, I was just always fun to jump back in. I feel like the checkpoints or whatever were pretty forgiving. It wasn't like you had to do a whole lot of backtracking if you died.
I don't know. There were a couple of combat rooms in the second dungeon where I don't know. I was getting frustrated.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But I am. But now I've got like a lot more upgrades now, so I'm definitely doing a lot better. Especially if you get those gun upgrades back in your hometown,
Mm-hmm.
where the bullets shoot in a bunch of different directions. That really helps.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I'm 2 dungeons down. I can't figure out how to get into the third dungeon right now. So that's
there's a big door in the front.
I did see the door, but you're not going to
Oh.
believe this, Jacob. But it's not that easy.
Did you ring the doorbell?
Right.
No, I didn't. Oh, you know what? I should try knocking next time. That's what it is.
There you
Hey,
go.
Mr.
Yeah.
Bad Guy, let me
Yeah.
in.
Hey, you got a boss? You got a boss key in there?
I am glad you're playing that game though, because that man, what a surprise that game was. Just kind of came out of nowhere for me. I never would have heard of it if I hadn't got a press release on it. And man, that's why we do this, man, to find those games that you just
Right.
never hear of otherwise.
Yeah, it's got a fun sense of exploration.
Mhm.
You know, it
It
doesn't really.
does.
Yeah, you go into a cave and you don't really know what you're gonna get, and you walk out of there with a heart piece or something. It's fun.
Mhm. It always feels rewarding. I never feel like there's, oh, it's just that. It always feels like, oh, it was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that for sure. And then I've been playing more Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. Naturally,
Nice.
have you been playing any of this yet?
No,
Anymore?
I had to finish a game for review before I dove into anything else. I feel like that should be my next game.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
And it just where I'm at in the plot just took a turn that is excellent. I guess it was. I don't know. It's doing a lot of fun stuff right now. In ways that I can't talk about, but
Gotcha.
but it's really good.
The thing I keep hearing people talk about this game is because everybody's talking about this on every podcast I listen to, right? And I want you to confirm or deny it for me because it's a first-person game that more or less encourages you not to shoot, right?
Right. Yeah.
But everyone's still just praising it up and down. You know what I mean? Like, is that?
Well, because I wouldn't say Indy does a lot of shooting in the movies either, right?
He does.
Like,
I can think of one bullet he fired.
right. Like
and-
the revolver is like it's a funny scene because he finally uses his gun.
right.
So yeah, there's not a lot of shooting at all. I even kind of got a part in the story where you're kind of ambushed by a lot of gunfire. But even then, your objective is not like fire back. Your objective is like find a way out of there.
Right.
So yeah, definitely you could go guns blazing, no doubt. And the anime AI is not exactly brilliant, so you could probably GoldenEye N64 him down the hallway and just blast him away if you wanted to.
Right.
But that's certainly not how the game is expecting you to play. But it is nice; it gives you the option.
Right.
But you're doing a lot more of like being scrappy, grabbing the shovel off the ground, beating a dude with it. It breaks, so now you're using your whip to like kind of bring in the other guy for a grapple and just smacking him in the face a couple times, or and then you go and push the other dude off the cliff. Like you feel very improvisational.
Can you really kill a guy with a fly swatter?
Yeah,
is that a
yeah.
joke?
I got an achievement for it.
Just can't even imagine how that would work.
Well, I don't know if you're killing the Nazis, but you're definitely knocking them out with a fly swatter.
Is it explained why they just call them fascists at the beginning of the game and not just like straight up Nazis? Is there a reason for that?
You will encounter Nazis later.
Okay,
so it's just because they are not the German army.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I guess they're just Italian fascists.
So I should
Benito Mussolini.
Is what you're saying?
Yeah, if you like Indiana Jones, I guess.
I love Indiana Jones.
I know I've never met a soul who doesn't.
Yeah.
Except for the young people at my job who haven't seen it, I guess. But
like the students at my job
that
don't even know who the character is.
I've never met anybody who's seen Indiana Jones that didn't love it. How about that?
Right. There you go.
Even my wife hadn't seen it until I showed her, and she loves Indy now.
That's
so
awesome.
much so it's slowing me down. She won't let me play without her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's always fun, though.
No, definitely, yeah. Well, yeah, and it's got a good sidekick. The Gina character is a good indie gal. You know what I will say about the story, real quick, is that they do kind of slow it down and like get a little introspective every now and again with Indy, which I kind of am liking. You can tell the Wolfenstein team is here.
Okay.
In their writing, because they took big buff military BJ Blazkowicz and gave him a lot of heart, and I feel like they're giving Indy some quieter kind of heartfelt moments as well.
I'm intrigued. I got to get back into this game. I hear that like once you get into the, Rome or whatever, it's just like it becomes this massive, not massive open world, but like there's just so many things to do.
Super manageable, yeah. But I would say each hub has like 5 or 6 hours of content total. So even if you add everything up, it's probably only going to be like a 25-hour game.
Oh, okay.
If you're like going for everything, so it's like super manageable, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha. How tough are the puzzles?
They are enough to slow you down, but never stop you. I would say
the perfect amount.
Yes, and the NPCs never help you.
Yes, I heard people talk about that on shows too. Is like they don't do the God of War thing. Like, what if you pull that lever?
You can opt into some hints if you want, but you don't have to.
Yeah, with a camera, right?
Yeah.
Which is something that people are saying they hope that gets adopted by other games in the future. Obviously, you're not going to have a camera in every video game, but
it would be nice if God of War, you could just press a button and be like, "Boy, do you have any ideas?"
That's something Kratos would do. Ask for help.
Yeah. He wouldn't Ragnarok, right? Doesn't he learn his lesson by the end of 2018? I know I haven't played Ragnarok yet, so what do I know?
Oh, so the new God of War will ask for directions. Gotcha.
Yeah, when he finally shows up in Egypt, he'll be like, "Excuse me."
Can you point me to the direction of the Great Pyramids?
I hate to bother you, but
excuse me, esteemed gentlemen.
I've been working on my emotional intelligence, and I was just wondering if you're feeling okay. I know being the sun god is hard.
Kratos with a sensitive side. I just can't even wrap my head around it.
I think it sounds pretty sweet.
Oh
man!
You ever see that? You ever see someone that like superimposed a smile on Kratos' face?
Dude, it's creepy every time.
It's so creepy.
It's unsettling. I would rather look at those like super realistic drawings of Mario,
right?
Than Kratos smiling.
It just looks so wrong on so many levels. Anyway, what else you been catching up on?
And then I decided, since I'm gearing up to do my annual replay of Red Dead 2, I was like, let me boot up Red Dead Revolver.
Original Xbox.
Yeah, dude, it looks like. So I'm playing it on the Xbox Series S, but I also have it on the PS5. But I was gonna play on PS5 for trophies, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Xbox back compat is straight up magic.
Yeah.
It looks so much better than the PS4 version. Like,
I agree.
The difference is night and day. It's crazy.
I
don't have a Pro.
I went back and played a little
Pro.
Crimson. What's that combat game on original Xbox?
Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge.
Yeah. And that game does not look like an Xbox game.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Like it's just kind of nuts how good that game looks.
And then you can really tell because the cutscenes are FMVs in
Yeah.
Red Dead Revolver. But they're using like the in-game character models, but what it is like, but they're not up-res, so they look like really blurry, the cutscenes.
Yeah.
But then you get back to the gameplay, it's razor sharp, so you
So
can
it looks
really
better in the gameplay.
yeah, but you can really tell like what's going on. It's wild. But anyway, the game is it's good. It's simple. It's
So
got
you can
fun.
actually download that game. That's one that you can go purchase and download.
Yeah.
On Xbox.
Uh-huh.
I did
sure.
not realize that was on the list because I've never played it.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say it's worth investigating. It's not gonna. I
Okay.
don't think it's gonna knock your socks off or anything.
Yeah.
But it does have like a cover system, which is surprising for the time.
Interesting.
But it's got
I'm
a good kill your path story. You see the Deadeye targeting system is in
I
there
remember-
getting worked out.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's got fun stuff. There's a guy with a crown made of dynamite. He's pretty cool. You're killing midget clowns. It's kind of a weird game,
Oh,
but it's fun. You play a
I
bunch.
believe
of
they
different
prefer to be
characters.
called little people clowns.
That's right, little people clowns.
Yeah.
Evil little people clowns.
I remember looking at the box of that game quite a bit. It was available for rent at Blockbuster when I worked there.
Uh-huh.
And I can picture what the box looks like in my head. It's just
He's
like a
like
real close up of his face and holding the gun.
Right,
Right, with his mouth
screaming
open.
while he's
Yeah.
firing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my fond memories of Red Dead Revolver, and never played it, but
Yeah.
I beat a game this week. I finally got through Void Rot, which I have been talking about the last couple weeks, and man, I really like that game, and
You did okay.
but I also could not wait for it to be finished. I know that sounds completely opposite, mostly because I've just got so many other games that I want to play before the end of the year. But it's frustrating playing a game that you're struggling to get through because you want to do it quickly, and you can't fight bosses in this game quickly. You have to really have the patience and memorize the patterns. Zach, I think I sent you a video of one of the bosses that I was struggling with.
It's looking tough.
And I did finally get through that boss, but you know what I'm saying? It's not a boss that you can just kind of, I'm just gonna wail on him now for a while. No, you have to like be precise with every movement and not take any chances and get greedy and all that.
Right. Yeah, don't get greedy. Yeah.
Right. And but the thing that I think you will love about this game is the lack, and this sounds counterintuitive, but the lack of instruction that the game gives you. There's no I think I told you there was one waypoint at the beginning of the game, and I never saw another one for the rest of the game. It
So
never
interesting.
points you in any direction. It never tells you what to do. I didn't even know where I was going. I had no idea where the final boss was. I accidentally uncovered the final boss. And it was one of those.
Did you get there early?
No. Well, I don't know, because when I beat the game, I got like 61% completion. So there's still like 39% of the map that I haven't, or items and map that I haven't collected yet. So I don't know, but it was, but the door to the final boss, which you have to reveal. But then once you get there, it's one of those deals where, oh, you need to have these 3 items in order to unlock this portal to get you to the final boss. So by the time I got there, I had all 3 of these items already.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? So like imagine like in Metroid, when you get to Super Metroid, when you get to that area where you've got the statue of Kraid and Ridley and the Phantom boss, and the little eye crystals are there, and once you defeat them, that eye crystal just like disappears. And like, oh, that's where I need to go for the final boss, right? I didn't see that until I had all 3 of those items, so I just plugged them in, went through the door. I'm like, oh, I found a secret area. Oh no, it's the final boss. And this game does the Ninja Gaiden thing, where, and I'm talking like the original Ninja Gaiden from like Xbox, where that first boss is like one of the most difficult things in the game. Just because you don't know what you're doing, right? You have no idea how the mechanics work. And once you get that down and understand what the game wants you to do, the rest of the game is fine. That does that here, but instead of it just being a mechanics like that, it is a game that starts out very easy in the tutorial, and then the first boss is really difficult because you're so underpowered, and then you have a couple other bosses that are really, really difficult, but then you start acquiring things, and the rest of the bosses are cake. Like it's just like it's not even an issue anymore. I think I beat that final boss in 2 or 3 tries, which, it took me an hour and a half to beat that one boss that I showed you a YouTube video of. So
That's
Um,
crazy. It's crazy.
the number one thing that I love about this game, and I kind of touched on this a bit last week, this might be the most underrated soundtrack of a game that I've played this year. I found out afterwards that the entire soundtrack is like on Spotify and Amazon Music and stuff like that, and I've been listening to it at work since I beat the game. It is so good. It's not anything that is going to have a tune stuck in your head, like like an Astrobot or a Mario game or something like that. It's just all mood setting music, and then it just goes into like not heavy metal, but metal adjacent
Yeah.
like undertones. But it takes a long time to ramp up to get there. Like the track will be a good minute and a half before it kicks in. It just kind of leads up into it. And imagine that being a section when you discover an area in a 2D gear gated game. Like I come across this and it just is ominous, and all of a sudden, boom! It kicks into this. It's kind of rad.
I feel like I would be ready to kick some evil monsters.
Yeah. Still have no idea what the story is, by the way, at all.
I was gonna say,
Like,
did you come around on the writing or?
No.
Yeah.
No. I still just like wound up skipping pretty much all the dialogue, all of the little lore things that you come across, and maybe that would be. It could be a mixture of I thought it was overwritten and me wanting to get through the game quickly. So I didn't really have any desire to go back and like uncover everything else though. So
Well, you can't be emotionally attached to every setting.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, Void Rot. Highly recommend that. Not sure if it'll make my top 10, but I feel like I'm gonna have to consider it, but we'll have to wait till the end of the year there. So already mentioned that I got my my 37th win in Balatro, so I've got that as well. And then I did my weekly Baldur's Gate 3 with Kevin and Paul, so that was good. We did this whole rescue mission. We came across one of our characters from our party, a bard that is not in our party but in our group. Like he's back at camp, and he's this goofy guy named Volo that he's got the typical garb or bard wear. And there was this whole rescue mission where he was like attached to a stagecoach or whatever that had dynamite attached to it.
Oh.
And it was surrounded by fire. So Paul cast like this ice storm thing all around it to put out the fire, and then we rescued him, and then he joined the fight, and that was a pretty fun fight. And it ended right outside this factory there's these characters called the Watchers. They're like these massive robotic creatures that are ran by Gortash, the guy that we've been trying to take out. And remember, we pissed him off. We blew up his underwater prison.
I do remember.
And so we went to confront him, if you remember that last week, and we got wiped out by these Watchers. So we are now outside this Watcher factory, and our mission is to figure out how to shut down the Watchers. So that's what's going to be on the agenda for this weekend, is going into there to see if we can turn off all of those machines so that we can then confront Gortash. So that's where we are at in Baldur's Gate 3.
Sounds like not a lot of progress this week.
No, we had to cut it a little bit short because it's that time of year, holiday parties and that kind of thing, and we had a lot of stuff going on. So, but it was still a good time. And Kevin is so good at not letting me know anything. He won't even tell me like how much further we have to go, because I want to be like, are we near the end? Like,
right?
Like, how close are we? Because we have reached max level. Did I say that last week?
Oh, okay. Level 12.
Yeah, we're at level 12 now. So like, experience means nothing now. We're not going to get any more abilities, and but
just like
it's a lot of fun. So
campaign.
It feels nice to level up, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty awesome.
Shots at Kevin.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. All right, some news this week. First off, Capcom wants to discontinue resurrecting dormant IP.
No, they want to continue.
What did I say? Want to discontinue?
Yeah.
My apologies. Capcom wants to continue resurrecting dormant IP. Masayuki Kato dies at age 78, unfortunately, and Pacific Drive is getting a television show. Zach, which story would you like to talk about?
Sure. I'll mention Masayuki Kato dying because at age 78, because he founded Nihon Falcom in 1981, which is a company that's recently become relevant in my life because of the Trails series of RPGs. He was a company president until 2001, and he was chairman up until his death. And the tenure of Nihon Falcom, he helped create Ys, The Legend of Heroes, which is the parent series of Trails, Xanadu, and more. And Ys is pretty important to history because it was the first action role playing game ever.
Really?
Yes, so it was the first time you had action combat to like level up, or is credited as the one. I'm sure there's history's weird. I'm sure there's one that was before, but it's the one that was made it prominent.
Credited.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, this stood out to me obviously because Trails is pretty cool, and but also like the founding peoples of video games are going to start dying.
Yeah.
So it kind of made me realize that. I mean, we've lost obviously many game developers, but usually somewhat young. But like now they're all starting it's that time where like our first generation of game developers are dying out.
Right.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, Iwata passing, even though he was a president, not necessarily. I mean, he developed stuff early on, right?
Oh yeah, he was a big programmer.
But that one hit me pretty hard. But man, if I start hearing things about Miyamoto, man, that's gonna be
Right.
that's gonna be a rough time, man. Like that dude has been responsible for so much. But yeah, you're right. It's just like the industry itself is getting to the point where people that started this are getting up there.
Right. Yeah. Like it's crazy. But I mean, obviously, it just has to happen. But yeah, Miyamoto is going to be. Well, I mean, he's going to be deified when he dies, though, right? Like he's just going to be a constantly revered god amongst the creatives.
He's going to have to, because I mean, not only is he an incredible designer, but he just seems like the nicest guy. Like, just genuinely loves gaming and loves these characters, and I don't know, just want to be buds with him.
Unlike somebody who, I guess, like Stan Lee, right, is a big, important person in American fiction, but also you heard bad things about him before he died. Like, I haven't heard a single bad thing about Miyamoto.
Nope, not a one.
Yeah, so let's hope that continues to be the case. He made the most recognizable character in fiction with Mario. Like, that's crazy. Good for him.
Yep. Absolutely.
But anyway, Masayuki Kato.
Yeah, not to take away from
right. Rest in peace.
But
I think Nihon Falcom is pretty wild that they're just kind of like trucking along this private little company, just knocking out RPGs for basically the love of the game. They don't make a lot of money, and they've just been doing that for over 40 years.
That's cool. Good stuff.
That's cool, man.
Jacob, what about you? What story would you like to talk about?
Oh, I feel like Capcom's the big one, so let's do Pacific Drive.
Isn't this one on your list of games that you want to play by the end of the year?
Yeah. Well, it's gotten a lot. What's up, Zach?
Now he doesn't have to.
Right. I don't need to watch the show. I'm going to play the game. Yeah,
I'm glad you
Pacific
picked this story because I haven't played the game and I know very little about it. All I know is you drive a car.
My kid has played the game a little bit, and you fight, craziness and what appears to be demons and whatnot while you're driving this car through the woods or some nonsense. But yeah, I don't know about the TV show. I'm not a huge TV guy, but I look forward to playing the game. And I mean, hopefully TV shows have not done a lot of justice to video games, and I don't want to have the TV show come out and have it get a lot of airtime and whatnot, and then never have played the game. So hopefully I'll get the game done before this happens. But
I don't know, man. Fallout and Last of Us say hello.
Even Twisted Metal was good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but it's not like I don't know, if there's a story like oh crap, The Last of Us. There was a story, and they stuck to the story pretty well, fairly well. But I mean, if it's going to be story driven and there's going to be characters that you want to see like just relive or have their interpretation of it or whatever, when they ruin that, it just feels horrible. Like look at the Halo series.
Right. Yeah, that was miserable. Well,
Right,
that was
so-
a game. That was a show seemingly made with disdain for its source property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Yeah,
that wouldn't
and-
happen here.
I don't want that to continue happening. So I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of video game made in a TV series, but from what I've heard, they haven't. It's been hit or miss lately.
Right. Well, James Wan is attached. I mean, that guy, he knows what's up. Usually, he's got more hits than misses, I would say. I mean, he made
Yeah.
Saw, for God's sake, like a gift to mankind. You know, we're
love
all
that
so.
movie.
I love that whole series. Except Jigsaw, the movie can rot in hell. But the rest of the series,
all
Bangers.
7 of them.
yeah, dude, absolutely.
There was only 7.
No, there have been 10 movies, and
Oh, God.
only one stinker. That's a pretty good rate.
It
Yeah.
is.
9
So-
out of 10.
And again, it seems like it's going to be up his alley when it's going to be like a little bit darker, a little bit more sci-fi-ish. But we'll see what happens with that.
Well, I guess that leaves me with Capcom. This
You
was
wanted the big one.
no, I just didn't want to talk about the one I know nothing about. This was brought up after the recent Game Award announcements, which we're going to be going into that in a deep dive here. I'm going to go ahead and read this quote for you. It says, in addition to regularly releasing major new titles each year, Capcom is focusing on reactivating dormant IPs that haven't had a new title launch recently, reads a statement on the company's investor relations site. The company is working to further enhance corporate value by leveraging its rich library of content, which includes reviving past IPs like the 2 titles announced above in order to continuously produce highly efficient, high-quality titles. What were the 2 titles that were mentioned above? Do you remember, Zach?
Okami
I know-
and Onimusha.
Ah, okay. There we
Oh.
go. A fan survey in February showed that Dino Crisis and Mega Man are the most requested franchise returns. So Secret Level has something to do with that, right? That's just like a test market to see if people want to throw money at or how interested they are in Mega Man.
The Mega Man episode is only 5 minutes long. How much interest could there garner?
Is it? I thought it was 9 minutes long.
Oh, I
Is
thought-
it really only 5?
I just took it because it was a single digit. Is all I remember. I was like, watch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
'Cause I saw that and I didn't even watch it. I was like, oh, it's only 9 minutes. I'll watch it
Yeah,
in a minute.
I
I never
the only thing that I watched the first episode of that show and I thought it was hilarious how they started a video game show with not a video game adaptation.
What was the first one?
Dungeons and Dragons. Decidedly not a video game.
Yeah.
Weird
I
choice.
mean, they've made video games, but
Sure.
Yeah.
And I guess it's the template for RPGs, but nonetheless, it's weird to start off that way.
That's a good point, man.
Yeah.
Good point.
Love
Why has
I,
Dino Crisis not gotten a sequel? Like,
It's got to get a remake, right? That's the way you got to do it.
yeah, give it the RE2
Right.
remake.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, dude.
And
They've got
all over that.
They got to be all over it, right? I mean, like, why wouldn't you have started it? They have to have started it, right?
I mean,
They know
it
people
sounds
want
like it from this.
if people want it.
What were we going to say,
Right.
Jacob?
Oh, I was going to say, like, Mega Man's been done a lot of times, and it's usually the same Mega Man game. Give me another Mega Man Legends. Give me a remake of Mega Man Legends. That was a third-person
Yeah, I
kind
remember.
of gear-gated game. But no, I want that. I want the goofy, the crazy, the the
Uh-oh.
nuts.
You gotta
Write that down.
You got to bleep that one. Scott I don't even think Scott was going to catch it.
I wasn't.
No,
Yeah.
38, 39. But yeah, remake Mega Man Legends. Give me that one back, and then add more sequels.
At least do a collection like they've done for every other Mega Man series. You know, a little Mega Man Legends collection. You could do Legends 1, 2, and Tronbon.
Yes,
Yeah.
they Sony released. Maybe it wasn't just Sony, but Capcom released something not too long ago. But I got it off the PlayStation Store. That was 1, 2, and Tronbon. But again, that was back. I think it's on the PS3.
I was gonna say I
And you
own them on PS3.
Yeah,
Digitally.
you can't. Yeah, you can't buy them again.
Yeah.
You can't. You don't have access to them. So
I
We do
would
those ones.
argue. I would argue though that those games probably didn't age as well as the original Mega Man games.
And I would urge you to shut the hell up.
Well, there's a
I
cult
implore
following for the
you.
original. What are we back to nice Kratos?
But that's what I'm. Yeah. Uh, yeah. There's a cult following, but cult followings don't, necessarily garner a.
No, I mean for the original Mega Man, for the original style where you have the bosses and you go get them and you regain their powers. But I mean, it gives a new spin to an old character, and I really enjoyed the Legends games and beat both of them. I don't remember trying Tronbon that much, but no, the first two games just sat so well with me for that character because when I was a kid, Mega Man was my go-to to play all the time,
Mhm.
and so I would just love to see those characters get revived.
I still think going a remake route or just going with a third one that is brand new with modern mechanics would make more sense. Because even back in the PS1 days when I played those games, they just felt clunky as hell.
Well, yeah, you used R1 and L1 to turn. What do you want?
I think a
Like-
new Mega Man, brand new franchise sub-series would be the way to go.
Like a new
You-
Mega Man X, like they went from Mega Man to Mega Man X.
Right, like so
Like a-
Mega Man Y. Yeah, you could. I think
Mega
you
Man
could do cool
Skibidi.
stuff. You could almost do like a 3D gear gated game, like where the different robot powers open up different areas. Something
Well,
like
that's
that.
pretty cool.
Ah,
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what Legends was basically. You would get the drill arm and
Yeah, but
you'd
there's a little
open up
more
different doors.
dungeon crawler in design
Yeah,
because you go in that little underground area. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of potential with the character, is what I'm saying.
right.
I agree. And I
You
would love
can-
to see more Mega Man. I mean, there's a whole bunch from the Capcom library that you could.
Right?
My immediate thought was Ghouls and Ghosts, but they just redid one. Didn't they do Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection or whatever?
I don't
I have
know.
no idea how well that game did.
Let's do a new Maximo.
Maximo, there you go.
Yeah. Crapcom no longer.
Man, that logo.
With Capcom or Crapcom?
No, Capcom's logo, like when it would come up in games, like from the Super
Uh-huh.
Nintendo era, that little jingle it does. I was like, all right, I'm in. It meant quality to me when I was a kid. Like I'm about to play something awesome. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on. I want to remind everybody about Patreon. If you are listening to the show and you like it, maybe you would be interested in supporting the show. We have a Patreon page where you can actually donate. You can sign up for a monthly subscription, and we reward you with early access to our episodes or occasionally bonus episodes. And right now, a couple bonus episodes that we got most recently published is our conversation with Alan Sheck, who was a Desert Island episode. And also, by the time this episode goes up, you will hear our latest Married to the Mic episode where Zack sat down with his partner Maeve, and we got to hear her talk about video games. And I got a chance to listen to it, and it was quite entertaining. So I highly recommend you check that out.
He's lying. He thinks I'm terrible.
No, Maeve and I are going to make spreadsheets together. It's going to be amazing.
Couple of nerds.
And we're also going to release 2 more episodes before the end of the year to make up for last month. So stay tuned for that. We got a couple things cooking, but we'll let you know what that is in the future. For now, let's go ahead and jump into the new games that we've been playing. Zach, what is coming on the horizon that people can purchase this week?
I gotta tell you, I could only really find one game that was of moderate note that was coming out this week, and that is Star Trek Legends, coming to all consoles on Christmas Day. This was an Apple Arcade it's like one of those hero collector phone games, but
Yeah.
without any of the microtransaction stuff. So it was just kind of a turn-based RPG with Star Trek characters from all the different eras. So if you're a Trekkie, give yourself a little Christmas gift. Make it so.
Make it so.
Make it so.
Yeah, it did nothing. This trailer did nothing for me. I like Star Trek, but not enough to play this.
Yeah, but by default, we're all picking Star Trek Legends this week.
Yeah, we have to, right?
But I also assume none of us are playing Star Trek Legends.
Correct.
Uh,
Absolutely correct.
I'm gonna go with Star Trek Legends, but I'm gonna work on my backlog first.
I think that's
Yeah,
smart. That's the way to
exactly.
go. Yeah, squeeze Void Rod in there.
Are you just like saying Scott's line there. Like that's just like Scott's go-to. I'm gonna
No,
pick this one, but I'm not gonna play it.
because I always make you guys pick at least one,
Right.
But you don't have a lot of options this week.
Yeah.
Shut up, Wesley.
We got plenty of options. We got Star Trek and Star Trek.
Well, there's a lot of options,
And,
right? Because there's so many different eras of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Don't forget Star Trek.
I'm sure you could get your next generation crew or the Kelvin timeline getting at it. Other Star Trek stuff,
And just in time for Christmas too. Just what I always wanted.
right? A little bit
The
of
holiday game Star Trek.
Right.
dude. Well, don't they find God in one of the movies, right? So it's just kind of a little Christmas tie in there.
Sure. Yeah, that's a stretch, but we'll take it. Well, what I do want to talk about, Zach, is this game you've been playing, and maybe you can tell me how we actually do pronounce this. Is it Westild?
I couldn't tell you. There's no voice acting or anything. I've just been saying
Okay.
Westild.
Westild.
Kind of like Wild West in reverse with a slur.
Okay.
Westild.
Westild's Law. You're playing this on PS5, but it is also available on Xbox, Switch, and PC. Of course, you had to check it out because it's Western themed, but I
Right.
thought this looked genuinely fun.
It would be a disservice if I did not check it out.
Yeah. So tell me about this game.
Well, luckily, it is genuinely fun.
All right.
It's a good start.
Right. Yeah, not a bad start at all. It's a nice, concise, 3-hour game as well. So it's a weekend game, I would call it. And that sounds so bad for $6. But
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say,
more.
when I saw the trailer, it was giving me Lone Ranger vibes. Remember when I made you play that NES game?
Yeah, yes. The other game's good. That game was great, dude.
I love that game.
Yeah. Oh, this feels. I feel like Lone Ranger might have a little bit more depth in terms of because they had kind of like RPG mechanics and stuff.
Yeah, and then a first-person shooter section, and
that game's. They should port that game.
Seriously,
right?
People go play Lone Ranger if you have not played that game. Anyway, we're
ahead of its time.
Westild's Law.
I'm sure they were inspired.
Yeah.
Westild's Law is a twin stick shooter. It's definitely the style. Very short missions that you're taking on. They're like 5 minutes or less.
Nice.
I think there's about 50 of them, I would say.
Mhm.
But they're all very concise. But the shooting does a couple fun things, right? Because I mean, obviously, we all know how a twin stick shooter plays. Yeah. Move with the left, you aim with the right. There's a dodge button. But
What?
I know, dude. But Westild's Law has got two neat little hooks for it in the combat. One is you can slow down time, which is always fun in any shooting game. And when you slow down time, everybody else slows down but you. You just keep moving normal speed, and you could just tear dudes apart with that. And that's a lot of fun. They call it Ultra Sense, which, come on, guys. You can come up with a cooler name than Ultra Sense. But outside of that, you can also ricochet bullets. You could shoot the enemy bullets out of the air. And
What?
Yes, it's which is just cool. But then if you ricochet the bullet right, this is just an assumption because the gameplay is so fast. But it seemed like if you ricochet the bullet into it, dude, it actually does damage. So it's definitely to your benefit to shoot bullets out of the air. And again,
okay.
It just seems cool.
Yeah.
Those are the two main hooks. Outside of that, you do your quick missions. There's 4 or 5 different types of objectives. There are a couple mission types that are on horseback though, and those are your auto scrolling levels that you get from a shooter, and that's a nice little switch up. You're usually fighting dudes off a train or whatever. It's just it's cool Western stuff. All right, is what it is.
Yeah.
And then you play through the game. You're playing as these two brother sister cowboys. You can pick which one. You could be Bill or Jill. And you're basically just trying to protect this town from this gang is kind of the setup. But the structure of it is you go out on your mission, do some shooting. You come back to town with money and loot, and then you sell your loot to the bank, and you can buy little upgrades. There are these skills you can buy that are actually effective, might double your slow motion time, or might give you some kind of or might cut your dodge cooldown in half, something like that, actual benefits.
Oh, half, not a 0.2% or something like that.
Right, yes, a noticeable improvement. Or there's one really good skill where, because you can upgrade your guns, there's one skill where it's if you pick up an enemy gun, it's automatically upgraded to max level.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of a nice little perk. But then you can also buy attributes, which are just not as interesting. You can increase your health, reload speed, or accuracy. But I don't feel like my accuracy was ever impacted anyway, and you don't really have to worry about reloading because there's so many enemy weapons. So just that kind of felt a little superfluous.
Sure.
That just felt like we need to add something for you to spend money on.
Well, especially if the game is that short.
Yeah, that's
Like,
another good point. Yeah,
like what are upgrades? I don't know.
right. And then you can buy guns, and you can upgrade them as well. But it only has it has regular steel and gold. That's it. Like just a very simple upgrade path.
Uh-huh.
But they're not. But the upgrades aren't super necessary because part of the main crux of the twin stick shooting is whenever you run over an enemy weapon, your character automatically picks up that gun and you just empty that gun and then chuck it at the dude when it runs out.
Oh, that's
And
fun.
It is fun. You can do like a quick stun that way. But what I'm saying, but the point is, you're not using your own gun that often, really.
Huh.
So really, I would just wait until there was a boss level, and then I would just buy the best gun that was available, because you're not gonna be able to pick up a weapon during the boss fight because you're just fighting one-on-one with the boss.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, but otherwise, so that also just felt like a little like, huh. I mean, after you beat the game, you unlock some there's like a little bit of end game content, and the weapons there get a little sillier, like a chain gun. So at that point, you want to buy some guns because it's just ridiculous. or like a magical throwing axe that homes in on dude. They get a little wacky after the credits roll, which is fun.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Do you recommend this one?
Yeah, not super complex. It's not gonna change your life. But if you just want a fun twin stick shooter, pretty easy platinum if you're into that. And it's just gonna it's like a fun way to spend a weekend. I actually, after I beat it, I kept playing because it was just fun. So just played it for a couple extra hours. So yeah, definitely just a really fun game.
And it's $6.
Right, yeah, very cheap too.
Hard to argue with that.
Hard to find a game for $6 these days.
So you're gonna keep an eye out for a physical copy of this one to add to Pixel Ranch?
I love you, Scott. You just know me so well. You bet. Of course. I don't know if they're gonna put a $6 game on a disc, but
I know, right?
But I'm always looking to fill the stables at Pixel Ranch.
There you go. This one is developed by Bug Studio, which, boy, we're coming up with a name for a video game developer.
Running out of names.
Bug Studio, but it's published by Ratalaika Games and was provided to us by PR Hound. I actually was gonna pick this one up if you didn't. I offered it to you first, Zach.
Yeah, I
for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But it looked like one that was going to be fun.
That's right.
So,
well, I played as a cowgirl. I just wanted the record to show.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I just now got your Bug Studio thing.
Yeah,
yeah. Although I guess naming your studio Bug Studio is a good way to guarantee you're not going to let any bugs through because you don't want to get made fun of, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If Bethesda had been, no, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
Glitch Studio.
But as I must check out any Western game, Scott, you must check out any pinball game. And
I do, yeah.
You've been playing Williams Pinball Volume 8 on the Xbox.
Yeah, I was a little shocked that there was an 8th because I don't remember. I've just been collecting them. I didn't realize there were 7 other before this.
Dude, you're such a Zen Studios mark.
I believe the term is whale. I'm
yeah, you keep the game going.
Mark is a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, how is what tables are here in Volume 8?
Well, there are 3 tables, and the cool thing about this is that this is one of those collections that is actual real pinball tables. Like these are old pinball tables that exist in real life that they turned into digital tables. Like remember me talking in the past about High Speed 2, the Getaway. It's like my favorite pinball table.
I do. Yeah.
We played it in.
I saw you play it.
Yeah,
or the first one maybe, or
no, that was the one. High Speed 2. It was the one where the engine in the middle, and
yeah, that was a fun one.
So these are all 3 older tables that they have recreated digitally. So it's really cool. I love that they do this with real pinball tables. And the ones they got here are Black Knight 2000, which it's weird saying that a table from the year 2000 is old. That's kind of weird to wrap my head around a little bit, but
I mean, it's a quarter of a century old.
I know, it's just crazy. Also Bonsai Run and Earthshaker. Now, Black Knight 2000, I was more familiar with the more modern Black Knight table because it's notoriously difficult table. This one's a little bit more manageable. Really enjoyed that one. Bonsai Run is this like motorcycle themed, like motocross racing deal. So like if you hit certain shots, it'd be like, oh, he's taking over the this vehicle or this bike, and he's taking over this bike. So you're constantly trying to get into first place.
Whoa, that's what I call an excite bike.
Yes. But the really cool feature of this table, and I've actually seen this table in real life, is if you hit a certain shot, the ball actually goes up to the vertical portion, like the back glass. So there's like these little mazes up in the top, and it goes up there, and then there's like other pinball things up in the back glass.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
as you can imagine, the gravity is much more intense because it's not a ramp up; it's going straight up. You know what I mean? So you really have to adjust how you're going to flip and everything like that. But that's always fun because you're trying to get up one level and then get up to the second level, and it's really cool. The one that I had never played before is Earthshaker, which is, as the name would imply, is kind of like you're trying to survive an earthquake. And in the real table, there's like buildings that like kind of shake and go back and forth like it's in the middle of an earthquake. And since it's a digital table, they can take a little bit more creative liberty with that. It's kind of fun. But that table was shockingly accessible. It was the shots were manageable, and it was easy to figure out what you were supposed to do. I kind of miss these 90s and early 2000s style of tables, where they just have a certain look to them. That like the way the lights flash and everything just feel like that era of pinball tables, and they're more easy to figure out. I feel like as the technology increases, it becomes kind of a crapshoot. Like you're just shooting at ramps just to see what happens. Whereas these kind of direct you a little bit more. So I'm really digging these tables quite a bit. I'm glad I picked it up. So, and that's obviously from Zen Studios, and they provided it to us from Uber Strategists. But you can pick up the collection for $14.99, $5 a table, unlimited plays. Goes great in the collection. I highly recommend it.
And that's not the it's not the only pinball game you've been playing this week, though, is it?
It's not.
You've been playing Zen Pinball World on iOS, another Zen Studios banger.
Yes.
So what is Pinball World?
It's literally just a mobile version of some of the pinball tables from Zen. So
Okay.
it's free to play. So you can actually go in it. You can jump in right now and download this. And I'm playing it on my iPhone. I don't have an iPad. I feel like this would be better on an iPad, so I don't have one, so I can't compare.
Right. I feel like your thumbs would kind of cover the whole table, right? Almost.
Well, if you play the digital pinball tables, there's always the space below the playing field that, like, like when you play a pinball table, there's space below the flippers.
Oh,
Your
okay.
thumbs can kind of go there. But as usually does with a game that you're playing with touch controls like that, I always feel like my thumbs drift, and I just never feel like I have full control. I wish I had like some kind of, I don't know, contraption, like a backbone, but that was just for pinball.
So almost like flipper buttons on the sides or something you could do. You can make it your own.
Yeah, just because like there's something about having that tactile movement to hit those instead of it just being a touchscreen that just doesn't work. And the other downside here is that since it is free to play, I mean, you could jump right in and download a table and play it all you want, as long as you're willing to watch an ad before each time.
Of course,
And
yeah.
it's the ads for those really junk games
Yes.
that they want you to download, like the King one with the match
Of course,
3.
yeah, everybody knows the King one.
Or
Is
the
it-
one where it's like a whole bunch of buses like in a thing, and you have to like drag them out to be able to free one car. Oh,
Right. And they like, if you let them autoplay, they always like do it terribly. So you're like annoyed. You're like, oh, let me just do this. Let me just fix this real quick.
I have come so close so many times on these, dude, but I have not faltered. I have the worst are those ones with I don't even know what those games are called, but it's like a vertical shooter, and they always have some guy like with his face in the video saying like, oh, which gun do I choose? Do I do this one? Do I this one? And they just make the stupidest decisions, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I refuse. I refuse.
Good. The game will
So,
never look like what they're selling anyway.
Right. So when I originally got the game, I originally downloaded the game just off of the App Store, and I was kind of intrigued that like there wasn't a way to make the ads go away. You know, like how in most free to play games you can,
Yeah.
pay
Pay.
your money, whatever. And in this one, I didn't see the option at first. I don't know if that's the case, but Zen then sent me a code to do their test pilot version or whatever. Like I got like a review version of it, so they replaced the one on my phone with this new one, and all of a sudden now I can buy individual tables for $5, which
Ah.
I'm glad that the option is there.
Uh-huh.
But if you're willing to pay $5 for these tables, I'm not going to recommend you to buy it on Zen Pinball World. I
Right.
think the app is really well done. I think that the tables play just as well as they do on like say my Xbox. But there's something about having that something tactile in your hands. Now I haven't played this with the backbone yet to see to compare. I don't know how that would work because in order to play pinball, you have to have the phone up vertically. So having a backbone's not going to help you, right?
I don't know. Is there a way to orient it?
I don't think so. I think it
Okay.
only goes horizontally. So if you're willing to spend the $5 for a table, download the client and play this on your preferred app of choice, where you're going to get slightly crisper graphics and the tactile movement and a bigger screen.
Right.
But
Yeah, you want
with
those
that said,
butts. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But with that said, it is shocking how well the physics translate to a mobile device. It's a well-made product. It's just not as well made as the places where these were intended to be played, if that makes sense. So, Zen Pinball World. I'm playing on iOS. I honestly don't even know if it's on. Oh, it is on Android. So it's on Android as well.
Right.
I'm looking at it.
Are you thinking about downloading it?
No.
Okay.
I haven't been. We took him to the pinball expo in Schaumburg, and he was just like he hated it. He hated every minute of it.
Bored to
I
tears.
didn't hate it. It was interesting. I like seeing the creativity in the tables and whatever, but pinball is just not my game.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man. It feels like Jacob hates things. Pinball, Balatro. He's got no joy in his heart.
If Scott
just-
likes it, he hates it.
Oh, okay. So that's what it is. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Zen Pinball World. I think it's really well made, but it's not gonna. If I'm gonna go to my phone to play something, it's not gonna be pinball.
It's gonna be
Balatro. And I'll just wait to play pinball on there. But again, I haven't played it on an iPad. I feel like that might be a game changer, but I'm gonna have to go talk to Mike and have him download it and let me know his thoughts on it, because he plays a lot of pinball on his iPad, like the
Okay.
Williams collections and stuff are over there, and he actually would use that to practice, and then go to the actual pinball table and try to get an actual real score.
Dude, Mike just
Which
lives for
is-
pinball, huh?
Yeah, he loves pinball, man. So there you have it. Well, before we move on, I got another couple games to share with you guys. Paul and Sean stopped by to talk about a couple games, and you can hear those right now. Well, hello there, Paul.
Hey,
And hello, Sean. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, good to have you guys here. I got a couple games to share with the community that you guys have been checking out. We're going to start with Paul. Paul, this is like your second game you've reviewed for us, second or third?
Second.
Second game.
Yeah.
And you're only 2 reviews in, and I feel like you are our resident weird game reviewer, because Bronana, the game that you're playing, it looks fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the game. I haven't played it. Is just bizarre looking. It's a Vampire Survivors clone, but you play as a banana, and you're attacking other kinds of food coming at you. Tell me about this game. Is it as weird as it?
That is exactly what it is.
Okay.
You play as a banana. You could be a bunch of different bananas as you unlock throughout the game. You have different weapons. You have melee weapons. You have ranged weapons. The weapon are interesting because they tend to take for some other IPs. Like you have martial arts fans, and you got caltrops, and you got swords, and you have a double-bladed lightsaber.
Wow.
And you have AK-47s and magnums and all sorts of different things.
You're
And
fulfilling my fantasy of being a gun wielding banana.
I think that's everybody's, right? So, and you are attacked by food, toast, buckets of popcorn, candies, larger bananas, all sorts of different things. It's very silly, very weird, very tongue in cheek. It's an interesting take on the survivors,
Uh-huh.
kind of bullet heavens. It's fun. You get to upgrade your weapons by visiting a blacksmith.
So you're
And
not
there's a
doing
little
this in the middle of a run? Like you don't collect something and then upgrade in the middle of a run?
you can. So at the end of each room that you clear out, you have an option to visit a vendor or a game of chance or a blacksmith
Gotcha.
that shows up, and you can upgrade your weapons or your items. The blacksmith has a little mini game, like a timed mini game. Like you have to do a match 3, so it kind of cycles through like a I was gonna say roulette wheel. That's not right. What is that?
Just a spinning wheel, like a game of
You pull the lever and it comes down and it spins the 3, and you got to match the 3 across. And that name just is escaping
slot
me.
machine.
Slot machine.
Slot machine. Thank you. Oh man, you guys are leaving me hanging. A slot machine mechanic, and it can transmogrify, it can change, it can upgrade. It's just a lot of chance, and it makes it interesting. One of the vendors looks like a really terrifying Ronald McDonald clone. On a banana. It is very, very different. And then you get to choose what kind of room you want to go into. You want to go and upgrade your, bonus to XP or guaranteed weapon drop, guaranteed item drop.
Also, it's got that Slay the Spire or Hades deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get to kind of like choose your path.
Uh-huh.
The ramping up of the difficulty on the runs is quick. Compared to perhaps some of the other survivors style games.
Gotcha.
And the weapons balances are perhaps not as refined.
How so? What do you mean?
You don't get a chance to steadily upgrade things, say like as you do in Brotato, and it is not as magically all of a sudden you're godlike as in a Vampire Survivors.
Okay.
And it's fun.
Aha moment of like, okay, I'm a god now.
Right. I have not experienced that yet. I have experienced like, why did I just get beaten down by that piece of toast again?
So this one comes from developer Busy Bear, was published by Spark Games. You said this is their first game, correct?
Yeah, it's their first game.
And it was provided to us by Stride PR, but it's on PC only as of right now. No word as to if it's coming to consoles, but it's only $4.99. So do you recommend people check this one out?
If you like the genre, it is worth the checkout. If you dislike the genre, I'd leave it alone.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Sean, we're going to move over to you, man, because you've been playing the game as well. And I thought that this particular pick, because you actually requested to review this game, called Highway Police Simulator, which you're playing on PS5. This one comes from developer Z Software, published by Aerosoft, and also provided to us by Stride PR. You're playing on PS5, but it is also available on Xbox and Steam. And the reason I say this is interesting is you reviewed Autobahn Simulator from the same developer a couple years ago, and I remember you not liking that game very much. So I was a little surprised that you wanted to play this one. Please tell me that this one is an improvement over Autobahn Simulator.
No, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. To save you time, you might as well just pick that recording from the archive and plop it into this one, because I'm experiencing the exact same issues.
Oh no!
Excuse me. Yeah, that cough was my body saying, "Yeah, I agree." Where to start? Inconsistent frame rates, buggy mess, stilted wooden acting on par with Plumbers Don't Wear Ties.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Massive collision detections where I'm falling through the ground into the void. The shooting mechanics, if you even want to call it that, are on a level that would even make the PS2 wince in pain.
Oh my goodness. You're joking. This is 2024, right?
Last time I checked, yeah, and last time I checked, the PS5 was a pretty like a new-fangled, top of the line modern console, I think.
Now, are you playing on a PS5 or a PS5 Pro?
just a PS5 Slim.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So, like, you didn't like the last one. What drew you to playing a game like this? There's got to be something about the formula that you like.
Yeah, just the idea of being a police doing the mundane routine things of pulling people over if they're speeding or if they're driving erratically, or stuff like if you'll get dispatch calls on the radio saying, "Hey, there's a crash. Can you go secure the scene?" And then you drive to the location. It's semi-open world. There is a big area, and it's set in like a fictional state in somewhere in the Southwest U.S. just based on the topography of desert. And so anyway, so you drive to the highway to get to the location, and you have to secure the scene, interview the people involved, take pictures of the scene, figure out what caused it, things like that. But there is an overall kind of story where you're a rookie cop, and you have to capture. There's a escaped crime boss that escapes a prison transfer, like a bus transfer, gets toppled over and attacked. That's neither here nor there though, because this game is so terrible. I don't know. I need to play Astrobot to balance it out.
I'm so sorry you're not having fun with this one, man.
Yeah, I need to play a game of the year at the same time to keep my sanity in check. And
so
also,
are you going to be checking out the next one? Is my question.
No, absolutely not. But the thing is, though, these games kind of sound appealing to me the same way games like Papers, Please, and you would know, Scott, Lawn Mowing Simulator, that was you enjoyed that for doing a mundane task, right? So
Yeah, totally.
there's something appealing about playing a video game where you're not rescuing the princess or you're not saving the world,
right?
And so I'm sure there will be something that come along eventually. I thought this was it, but I made the mistake of not realizing this was the same freaking people behind Autobahn. So that's on me. I will admit fault on that one. Again, fool me once, fool me twice, yada yada yada.
Well, and this one's $39.99, which is a budget price. But
it's not worth $5. It's not worth 30 cents.
Oh my goodness! Scathing review from Mr. Coates. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
I am sorry. I try to be nice, but if I'm having a hard time even playing it, this is gonna be a long one.
All right, man. Well, good luck. I wish you all the best. But thank you guys for checking out those two games. I appreciate you taking the time. As always, it's awesome to chat with both of you. Paul, great D&D session this past week.
Absolutely.
I talked about it on the show earlier already, but looking forward to this weekend already. Do you have any idea how far we are from finishing that game? Like, can we finish it by the end of the year?
Much like being in the red zone, it looks close, but it's going to be a hard push.
Okay, so we're not going to finish it by the end of the year.
Doubtful.
And then we're going to start another one. Like, we're going to play again as another character.
Absolutely.
And you're having fun, right? You guys are having fun.
Oh, it's totally fun. It's just it doesn't sound like fun when I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday to be able to be alert enough with enough coffee in me to start playing at 6 o'clock. But once we get rolling, I'm like, I don't want to stop. You know what I mean? So that's what we've been doing for the past few months is 5-6 hours at a time, chipping away. We hit the 100-hour mark this last time. So
and level cap.
And we did hit the level cap last time too, yeah. So.
Makes me sad I'm not closer.
I mean, we play online, dude.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We don't play in person. Are you kidding? He lives in Milwaukee. Kevin lives in Janesville. I live in Rockford.
Right.
There's no way we're playing together for 100 hours. But... All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thanks so much for stopping by. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Awesome.
There you have it. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Before we move on, I want to remind everybody about our website, thegamingoutsider.com. If you haven't checked it out, you can find all our episodes there, as well as our written content. And this week, we published some last-minute reviews before we get into the end of the year here. Zack's review of Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered is up on there. Sean's review of Star Wars Outlaws. Mark's review of Slope Crashers. Zack's review of Westild's Law, which you just heard about. And Mark's review of Proverbs, which he literally asked me if you could give that game a 10 out of 10. He's like, I want to score this game a 10 out of 10.
What did he give it?
You do what you want. He gave it a 9.5 in the end.
Did you talk him down? Or is this his own choice?
You talked him off the ledge?
Ledge.
I didn't talk him off the edge because he had issues with the music, which I feel like isn't fair for a puzzle game. Like, to necessarily knock points off for it because it's like 30 hours. He said in his review, he said something to the effect of it was like playing the same CD over and over and over again while playing your favorite video game.
Mm-hmm.
Which, what do you expect the game to have 40 hours of no music? You know what I mean?
It seems like he was just hesitant to give a 10, I think.
I mean, I said, dude, the music is the only negative thing you said about it. So like 9.5 maybe, but it's up to you. And he ultimately landed on 9.5. So
all right. I feel like there's a lot of behind the scenes talk here, but
I just it was a fascinating conversation. He's never scored a game at a 10 before, and
I know that's why I thought, maybe that's why he was resistant.
Maybe he wants to kind of hold that one in there for that perfect
Right?
game.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jacob. Were you going to say something? That we
Well,
talked
once you do it once, it's going to get easier and easier to start handing out 10s, and they're all going to be 10s.
Well, if it's good enough, right? Then they deserve it.
I gave one out this year, and it wound up being game of the year. So,
well, so you shoot well.
I do shoot well.
Heard that about you.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into this week's topic. The Game Awards were last week, so there's obviously a lot to talk about between awards and announcements. Let's start with the. You know what? I'm going to go off script a little bit here. Let's start with the show itself before we even get to the awards and the announcements. But I know this has like kind of been a talking point each year about how this is. If you think back to some of the years past when there was, I always have visions of that giant Gillette razor mascot. That one year, do you remember that?
Oh my God, yes, dude. Why bring up that horror memory?
Because I want to do that to compare it to like where we're at now. I feel like the show has grown so much. This was the 10th year, and I'm not going to say it was perfect, but I really thought it was well done. People were complaining about it being long, but I mean, so are the Oscars, and people watch that, and the Oscars aren't entertaining.
Well, yeah, I don't take the length complaint seriously personally. You could just tune out and watch the rest later if you wanted to. I don't understand what nobody's got a gun to your head to keep watching it
right
live, or I don't really understand the complaint.
People got to be first to know, man.
Right? Yeah. I don't understand that personally, but
yeah. What'd you think of the show, Jacob?
I'm sorry, I just looked at the Gillette mascot.
Oh, you never saw it?
No. Oh my!
It was like literally a dude in a racer costume, like walking on stage. It was so awkward. That was like, guys, this is what we're doing. Like, we want to like
it's an
be taken seriously as an industry, and man.
I mean, we're an industry that also does cosplay, so come on.
Well, I guess technically every industry does, right?
And I mean, a famous game, Pepsi Man. Come on.
Yeah, famous.
Let's not.
We're just throwing the word famous around. I see.
My bad. Unknown, legendary.
Did you watch the show, Jacob, or did you just watch the trailers?
I just watched the trailers. Well, I didn't even watch all the trailers, but I tried to stay away from a lot of these kind of shows, these awards, because they just feel like they're patting the wrong people's backs. I don't like. I mean, yes, the overall like creative development, the people that write the story, and all that stuff. But I mean, there's so many people who work on these games, and it just like it always falls to like one or two people, and then everyone else just gets a paycheck, and that's their reward.
That's interesting.
I don't like a lot of these shows. Like I'm glad the games won awards. That's always goes to the people who programmed them, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I would just like maybe some more, lead programmer, all that kind of stuff. Because there's people in there that are doing like some actually really hard work trying to figure things out, trying to get mechanics to work right and all that kind of stuff. And the best that we can look at is graphics and music and story. And like the actual bare bones of the games needs to work. If that didn't work, the game would be hot garbage anyway. So
I get what you're saying, but there's also so many awards as it is, and they're flying through those awards. I mean, at one point, Keeley gave out like 4 awards in like 3 minutes.
Well,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
they don't need to be super super. I don't want to hear this guy thank his mom and his dad and the rest of his family and his team or whatever. But give a best programmed game or least glitches or whatever best play tested or yeah, I don't know. Come on, there's so many jobs that go into actually making the games that it just seems weird that we're only thinking of just a couple of people when it comes down to it.
Zach, what'd you think of the show? You watched
Oh,
it, right?
right. Yep. Yeah, I watch it every year, whether I want the gun barrel in my mouth or not. But this year, happy to report, no gun barrel.
Yeah.
A huge improvement. I think last year was such a low point that there was really nowhere to go but up. There was no Timothy Chalamet here to give out Game of the Year for whatever reason, so that's a nice little perk. Yeah, there were no gimmicks. Like I know people like that Elden Ring pot on stage, but I hated it.
I
So
hated it.
yeah, so I'm glad. I'm glad that most of the gimmicks outside of the Muppets were not present this time. And
Like the old guys, man. I thought that was fun.
I understand. I understand. I did not, but that's okay. I also just don't like the Muppets. So
Oh.
it was never gonna. It was
You
never
didn't
gonna.
like the dig that they had on Keeley? Hey,
The
he's friends with Kojima.
the Kojima
Somebody
one.
should tell.
The Kojima bit was fun. I also appreciated the acknowledgement of like I think this is more of like the announcement show with the occasional award break.
Mhm.
I appreciated it, but
They're aware.
right, you're right. But yeah, as for the show itself, yeah, big improvement. I appreciated that the winners got to speak as long as they needed to. I still don't like when they do group the awards and just kind of barrel through them, but I did notice in a lot of cases, like for Helldivers, right? It would win they would go through like rapid fire and it would win a category there, but then they would win another award later and actually get to go on stage.
Right.
So it seems structured in a way to try to get everybody on stage. But my argument will always be that if you know you have awards you have to fly through, why have them at all?
Right.
Right? Because clearly you don't care enough about them that they need to take up time.
That's a really good point, man. Like,
So why are they here?
just get rid of them. Just
You know?
have. I mean, how many awards are there like at the Oscars? Like,
I don't know the number count. Gotta get
yeah, but,
Aaron on from the Hollywood Outsider. I'm sure he would know.
right, but like every award gets a speech.
Right. Yeah. If you think that the category deserves an award, it should deserve stage time, right? Or else why is it here? Get rid of the stupid things like esports. Why is this here? Best adaptation, get rid of it. No reason.
Or the best like streamer or
Yeah,
stuff
nobody
like that. Like
nobody cares about these awards.
it's
You
just a
think
way for someone to get patted on the back. That is
Jeff Keighley's friend?
is
Like, oh,
yeah.
I really
Like,
care about influencer of the year, man. I really just need to know. Like, it's so what is it? It's not. It doesn't belong here. So get rid of some of those, and if you get rid of enough of those, you could bring in what Jacob's talking about, like a best cleanest UI of the year, something like that. You could have some more interesting categories, and also, not for nothing, Jeff Keighley has a fully captive audience. They can complain how long the show is all they want, but everyone's sticking around for the announcements anyway. So just let
yep.
people
What
talk.
was it, 100 million? They said this year
150.
150 million.
Yeah.
Nuts.
So you can the show can be as long as you want because as long as you end with a Naughty Dog game, people are going to stick around.
I really enjoyed it. I thought the pacing was good. It was long, but the pacing was good. The only thing I felt really like where I wasn't paying as close attention when it was the actual commercials.
Right.
Obviously every game announcement is a commercial. I get that, but there were ones that were like, "Oh, this is just reminding me that Fortnite has this thing I can do."
Right. Or I really my eyes just started to glaze over when they just had like a whole block of waifu collectors.
Yeah.
It's like just 20 minutes of these anime collecting games. I was like, what is going? If you had told me this was all the same game, I would have believed you. They really run together. I don't have the skill set to differentiate the waifu games.
Yeah. The thing that stood out to me and it felt genuine to me is that like Jeff Keighley really sells me on his love for the industry and just how passionate he is for everything, like just how excited he is to be able to show to the world this thing. He didn't make it, but he put it together to be the one to show this to you.
See,
You know what I mean?
I'm glad he reminded me, because the past few years, as he's like tried to shoot, like, oh, here's Vin Diesel for the final big announcement, it really seemed like it was more he was excited and desperate to hang out with some Hollywood people, like his friend Hideo Kojima. So maybe it rubbed off on him. So, but it was nice this year. It actually was like, oh yeah, he does kind of care about games, huh? So that was nice.
Right. Yeah. What did you think about the I cannot remember game? Was it Games for Impact Award? Is that what it was called?
Oh, are you talking about the Game Changer?
Game Changer.
The,
Yeah.
the spreadsheet guy.
They called him the spreadsheet guy. I missed that somehow.
No, he was making like a spreadsheet of resources of like people that to get jobs or whatever, or job listings. Yeah.
He helped people that like got laid off, and it was an interesting way to acknowledge that issue in the industry.
Yeah,
which kind of got glossed over last year.
Well, I do appreciate Jeff's. He's kind of in between a rock and a hard place with that stuff.
Yeah,
because if he goes too hard, then you're just not going to get the announcements, right? Like if you're pointing out that PlayStation laid off 8,000 people this year, they're not going to let you show off the new God of War, right?
Yeah, you can't make any of these people look poorly,
right?
And
or
still be in
too
their
poorly,
good graces.
you know. But so I'm happy he acknowledged it. I'm happy he did it in a way that was probably safe for him in the position he's in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I thought it was a sweet little moment. I did feel unclear, like really what he was doing, because it seemed like, was he just building a list of job openings? Like, I don't understand.
But how does somebody like that get paid? That's
well, he's got an actual job at a company, apparently,
Okay.
like I think at Tencent maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
he just did this on the side to help out.
right, yeah,
Gotcha.
correct.
Okay.
But I thought,
let's
I thought
move
that was
on.
nice. What was up with Ken Kutaragi though? He was so happy the father of PlayStation was there, and then he started walking on stage, and then he just didn't get to go up. That was so sad.
I missed that
It
somehow.
was right at the beginning of the show. It was
Oh, that's why I missed the first.
oh.
I don't know, 30 minutes or so.
He was talking about how excited he was that the father of PlayStation came to the Game Awards finally, and then Ken Kutaragi stood up, because I assume he doesn't speak a lot of English, but he's hearing his name and a lot of clapping, and so he was like walking up to the stage, and then they headed him off, and he didn't go up.
Wow.
I was like, it is weird to call out that this guy is here and he hasn't been before, and then you're just like, see, I collected him. Like
Somehow the guy that loves Bill Clinton was able to get on stage, but Ken Kutaragi.
Dude, Bill Clinton just wants to know when Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out. That's it. That was so crazy.
All right, let's get into the actual awards. The big one, obviously, was Game of the Year. The winner was Astrobot. Was anybody surprised that won? That just seemed.
Well, that was not my guess. I thought it was going to be Shadow of the Erdtree, as I recall in our predictions. I thought it was weird. Shadow of the Erdtree won 0 awards, so it's weird that they went through all the drama of changing the rules for it.
Right.
I don't really understand it.
Kind of like, really?
But otherwise, I don't think a JRPG will ever win Game of the Year. I just don't think the voting jury is ever going to swing that way. And this was its best bet with Final Fantasy VII and Metaphor, and kind of a year that was slower for AAAs. So that kind of, what a shame. But Astrobot, can't be mad about that one. Game's exceptional.
It was great.
And it's just fun.
Right. It is.
It's just
as Jacob recently found out.
There's just a level of joy that you have while you're playing the game. It's so bright and colorful, and I don't know. It's not overly hard. It's not overly complicated. You're not looking for 4 different things and whatever to collect or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's a little bit here and there, but I mean, the game is just laid back. It's easy. It's fun.
Right. Yeah.
It reminds you of why we like games in the first place.
Yes,
right.
Which is hard to say about a lot of games nowadays. There's always 4 or 5 different currencies in them. There's always something that's going on. There's always another agenda that's happening in the background of any major game that's happening right now.
Right. Or like even in a game called God of War, you're spending like a third of the time in menus, like sorting, like it's always so busy. Yeah. It was nice that Astrobot was just a video game.
And God of War 2026, I'll be spending it in therapy.
Well, yeah. Well,
why are you so aggressive?
Yeah, he'll have already gone through therapy, so he's going to help you out.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy now.
Right.
I see it started at your childhood.
Were you unloved as a child?
Tell me about your father.
Let me embrace you.
What about the other awards? Anything?
I would have loved Balatro to win Game of the Year, though.
Me too. I was like secretly
because it won a lot of awards.
It won 3. Like
it would've-
what best indie game, best mobile game,
I
and
think-
best debut indie game.
Right. It would have been awesome if the game of the year did not have the person there to
Right?
accept it. That was awesome.
But I think I've brought this up in years past, but I don't understand how if Balatro, I'm looking at the list, is the only indie game on this list, right?
Okay.
And so if Balatro is in the list for best indie game,
Uh-huh.
doesn't it win by default?
Yes.
If Balatro is in the list for best mobile game, doesn't it win by default? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, definitely. Right. Well, I mean, it'd be like, if like Final Fantasy was the only RPG on here, we would win best RPG by default, right? Like, yeah,
right.
that's just how rewards are structured. Or like 9 times out of 10, best game direction is also game of the year.
Right.
You know, like
Was it this year?
It was, yeah.
No, best game. Oh yeah, it was Astrobot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Standouts
is what you're asking?
Yes.
Phyllis? Best art direction for Metaphor seems fair. I've only played the demo, but I think that game is stunning to look at. Kind of looks like a Renaissance painting while you're playing it. So I
want to play that game, but I don't have kind of time.
Right. I hear you. That's why
you gotta make time.
That's why I played like the demo. I was like, well, this is pretty great. I don't know when I'm going to play this.
Oh, is the demo still out?
Yeah, it's like the first 6 hours of the game or something like that.
6 hours.
Yeah, I have not beaten the demo yet.
Wow.
You just scared Scott.
Yeah.
No. I'm just like I would get my fill.
Right. Well, that to me is like big swing in energy, right? Of like, yeah, we know this game is so good, we will give you 6 full hours of it.
So they do the deal where like you play 6 hours of it, and then if you buy it, you can continue where you left off.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
All right.
That's just smart. Best performance. I think it should have been Luke Roberts as James Sunderland in Silent Hill 2. He was breathtaking in his performance. Truly, truly exceptional work. But if there had to be a second choice, it is Melina Jurgens, for sure. I did not like a lot of stuff about Hellblade 2, but she was great.
Yes. I mean, just the bits I've seen, I agree.
Yeah. And dude, she's been nominated twice for the same character and won both times.
Yeah.
That's her only 2 acting roles.
She's never like even been in any other films or anything like that?
No, because she was like on the sound team of Ninja Theory. She was just a fill-in originally until they found the actress.
Oh wow. And they're like, wow, she's actually pretty good. So.
Yeah. So I don't know if she has acting aspirations, but she's been locked in on Hellblade World. Because it took them 7 years to make a 5-hour game?
Yeah.
Oh.
I noticed that Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown won an award. Innovation in accessibility. Is that accessibility in like for people with disabilities, or is that a nod to what they did with the map?
Well, I assume it's kind of all tied up, right?
Okay.
But I assume it's mostly for disability stuff. Yeah.
Okay. It's just a shame that that's the only thing this game got recognized for, because that game is.
But now it could say Game Awards winner on the box.
That's true. That's all it needs, right?
Right. It's just like an Academy Award winner, but it's like best costuming. But you don't need to know that.
Except it's also like, literally almost a year old. That came out in January, right?
Yeah. But,
so like I feel like that's not going to help sales.
Well, sure. Yeah, that ship sailed for sure.
Do they reconsider a sequel? Sequel to the Game Award winning.
They do not. They do not reconsider sequel. Ubisoft is on its back foot. They can't afford to make sequels to games nobody bought.
I know. It's too bad. Let's see. I'm trying to see what else on here stood out. Nothing else really. Best adaptation went to Fallout. I know you don't care about that award, but like, I kind of expected it to go to that League of Legends show. Actually, I can't remember what that show is called that I haven't watched.
Arcane.
Arcane, yeah.
Yeah, but Fallout is well, because like Arcane doesn't make you want to play the game, but Fallout does.
Sure does. I downloaded Fallout 4. Right?
Right. So I think that makes it a better adaptation.
Oh, by the way, I gotta tell you this. You'll appreciate this. There's a kid at school that just decided to come to school wearing a trench coat and a fedora.
Okay, so he's
and
a private
I stopped
eye?
him in the. I stopped him. I'm like, dude, have you played Fallout 4? He's like, yeah, a little bit. I was like, dude, wearing that, you look like Nick Valentine. And he's like, thank you. He literally said thank you. He was so excited. that like number one, a 45-year-old teacher knew a video game reference that he knew, and that like it almost felt like that's what he was going for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he seemed genuinely surprised. So
I mean, that's
I
a
don't know.
who wouldn't want to be compared to Nick Valentine?
He was the best. He was the
Yeah.
best side character in that
No doubt.
show or
Uh,
that game. Excuse me.
I felt it was a little cruel to put Grand Theft Auto 6 in most anticipated game category. Nothing else had a chance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
was anybody surprised by that?
Yeah, I was like, man, that's a why bother award.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jake,
a
any
little bit.
standouts for you, man, or did we cover them all?
Best multiplayer, Helldivers 2. I think
Mhm.
it has been a while since you've got a group of players together that would feel so interconnected with one another that they don't even. You have people in servers who will find traitors, people who team kill in the game, and they will mark them, and then they will hunt them down in other lobbies because in the lore in the game, you're a traitor to the super Earth, and so now you're being hunted from planet to planet to planet to wherever you're going just to be murdered, and you have all of these people just there's and there's two sides of every community. You have the one side that they don't even care. They'll play with each other. It's all camaraderie. It's all group fun. It's all this. It's all that. And then you have the other side where they're just way too serious, and it takes all the fun out of everything. You have people getting kicked out of lobbies because they're not using the meta of the game or whatnot, and that's kind of sad. But the videos of people going out of their way just to have fun in game with each other is astounding. You don't usually have that anymore. The last time I saw that kind of stuff was when The Division first came out, and you had people standing in circles together, all dancing and all this stuff, and then you'd have one person throw a grenade in the middle of it and kill everybody and get all their loot. But I mean, you're talking about getting 30-40 people together inside of an area, all dancing, all having fun, all doing whatever. And yeah, that's happening in different games now, but they're more lighthearted games. They're not as hard, and The Division is a very I kill you, you kill me area that's in, and to get people to actually like put down their guns and to step into an area and be defenseless in this, like anyone could kill you at any point is crazy. But yeah, Helldivers, just to get the community together like that where everyone is on the same page. The release of this new update, I'm not sure how long they scheduled it to last, but I don't even think it lasted a day. They had a new update, everyone got alerted, everyone got on, and they killed it. They killed the objective. I've never seen objectives getting finished that fast in games. The group work that they have in the game with the community is just nuts.
I was a little surprised it won best ongoing game, considering it seemed like the community was upset for most of the year at it.
Yeah, I don't know if it should have won that one, but I don't know what other continually ongoing games would be in that list.
Yeah, and I doubt much of the voting jury was probably keeping up on what was happening on the online community anyway. So they probably,
yeah,
just saying,
it was a gimme, it was a throwaway
a little bit. I think so. The last award I guess I was interested in is Best Narrative to Metaphor Refantasio, which makes me think I should find the time for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Because the dude, like the menus are, I feel like an old man because I find them genuinely bothersome because they're so flashy and over the top, and it's kind of hard to get over. But if the story's really that good, I think I'm just gonna have to learn to live with it.
I'd be really, really curious to hear what you think of that game.
Yeah,
legitimately.
Why?
Just because you're the story guy, man, and like I just want to know what that story is about. It just it sounds genuinely interesting. Like it's medieval fantasy, but not. I don't.
Right. Well, it's kind of like it's like a political campaign crossed with a anime tournament arc. It's just like it's like a fun setup, and I love the idea that the whole plot revolves around the greatest magic of all, democracy.
Yeah.
The ultimate fantasy.
Liberty.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the real reason that everybody tunes in for the Game Awards, which is the game announcement, because this is, the winter
Scott's
E3.
beautiful voice.
Which Which, by the way, that was one joke that was subtle enough. I don't know if people picked up on it, but what game was it? It was like they made this mock thing where like the whole stage was going haywire or whatever. Like things were going wrong, and like Jeff Keighley had this look on his face, like, "Oh, what's happening? What's happening?" And then somebody's on stage going, "No, this never would have happened at E3."
Oh yeah, I heard that. That's pretty
I
funny.
legit laughed out loud. Oh, and
It's
the other
it's-
thing, did you see the they had an ad for Squid Game 2, the show, but and
Uh-huh.
they made it video game related because they have a Squid game that's coming as well. But then they had like the dude in the mask like up talking, and he says something to the effect of, "And attention, all you CEOs out there, we've got an executive suite for you here to watch this." And I was like, "Oh, that seemed a little."
What,
Oh,
nobody-
too soon. Too soon.
I don't know if they thought that through too much,
what
man.
do you need to think through? It seems like the general consensus is on the shooter's side.
I know.
It's pretty
Oh.
unified. So I'm not.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
get me
no,
started
that's a
on
whole
that.
other. That's a whole other podcast.
But anyway, I want to mention those two things before we got into the awards. Jake, I'm going to start with you, man. We'll just kind of go around the horn. Each of us pick one game that kind of stood out to us and go from there.
What?
This might.
Who? What? Where? Where are we?
I'm going to start with Zack.
Okay.
And
All right.
Zack.
Yeah, under new game announcements. I
Okay.
assume it's going to take us a while to get through. There's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff here. I guess I'll just start with the top. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. It's coming sort of 2025. This is from the people that made it Blasphemous.
Mm-hmm.
It is the first new 2D Ninja Gaiden game in what, 30 years probably since the NES.
Yeah, because they went to the 3D route back in
Right.
the day.
So this is cool, and you're bold that it doesn't appear you're playing as Ryu Hayabusa, right? You're playing as some other guy.
Right. But I love how the opening of this trailer is straight up an anime version of the opening of the original game.
Yeah, I thought of you when I saw this trailer. I think I sent it to
Well,
you or
'cause
texted you about it.
You texted me because I've been like lobbying for a new Ninja Gaiden game for years. That's been like my prediction on the show. And the one year I don't pick it in my predictions,
It happened.
or maybe I did. I don't remember my predictions now,
I
but
feel like you did,
did I?
but anyway.
But it's not I genuinely wanted a 3D, like a new Ninja Gaiden, Sigma or Ninja Gaiden, that kind of thing. But this looks rad, dude. This looks so good. I am on board 100%.
Yeah, dude. I mean, definitely. What about you, Jacob, on this list? Are you excited for Ninja?
Yes.
Well, first of all, are you excited for Ninja Gaiden?
It has been so long since I played a Ninja Gaiden game. I don't even know. The last one I played was Sigma, so probably not. But Ninja Gaiden's always been fun. I've played Ninja Gaiden since the NES, so whatever.
I played it
but
since the arcade, man.
Congrats, you're old.
That was like a completely different game too.
I'm sure. Scott, are you excited for Slay the Spire 2?
I
Actually
am.
finally
I
coming
was
out.
so excited. I actually re-downloaded Slay the Spire on Xbox and played that for a couple hours the other night. So, man, I love that game.
Yeah. Are we going past this new game, whatever thing here
What is
on the list?
what?
New game
know.
thing.
It says new games from blah blah whatever. Either way, Borderlands 4 got a trailer. Me and Mike are arguing about that.
Well, okay, not okay. What do we? We're just jump. What do we jump? You're jumping all over the place here.
That's what I asked.
And also, I thought we were going around. I thought we were doing a
Well-
little round robin thing here.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, okay, fine. Scott something. I asked Scott about Slay the Spire. I wasted mine.
You did.
All right. Well, new game from. I actually didn't get to see the trailer for this one. I came in late because I was at a prior engagement. But I really want Zack to tell me about this new game from Ueda. This is the guy that does like Shadows of the Colossus and stuff, right?
Right.
But from what I hear people talking, it's like that, like giant climbing things, but instead now they're robots.
Right.
Is that
Well,
is
first
it more
of all,
than that?
I don't know if you know this, but all these trailers exist online. You could just go ahead and watch them.
I've been busy, man. I got
Alright.
time now.
Okay.
It's been a busy week.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
I had to watch the Ninja Gaiden Ragebound trailer a couple times.
yeah, you get every detail. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much to talk about. It's exciting that Fumito Ueda, is making a new game. I mean, it looked like Climbing Colossus and Shadow of the Colossus, but yeah, it's a robot. This time you are the Colossus, I guess. I don't really know what to say about it. It looks artsy in the way his games often do. I am very excited. I will play it, confident that I will. But it really was. It's kind of an announcement for the sake of an announcement.
Gotcha.
Project
Long
Robot.
ways off.
Yeah, it has to. But his last game was Last Guardian. That was what, 2016?
Yeah.
Like he's taking his time.
Yeah.
As long as they're good.
Right. Yeah. They are. They are always good.
All right, Zach. I think you're up.
Sure. Thick as Thieves is exciting. It's a new game from Warren Spector. Love Warren Spector. Guys always come up with exciting ideas. I loved Thief when I was a kid. Adored it. So if this is like a multiplayer spin on Thief, dude, I'm in.
Is this the one that's like Payday 2, or am I mixing up my games here?
That's later.
Okay.
This would be early in the show, so you didn't see it, apparently.
Okay, that's, yeah.
This is it looked like a very fun tone in the trailer. But it just sort of just looks like Thief in multiplayer. I would rather Warren Spector made a new single player Thief. But if this is what I gotta get, this is what I'll take. Looked fun.
There you go. Jacob.
What up?
Now you don't have to waste yours by asking me. You just tell me what game you're interested in.
I don't know. There's been a lot of talk in my house about a bunch of different games that are on this list. Borderlands 4, the new Elden Ring one. I mean, the household is excited for Borderlands 4. We're just very, very iffy with how 3 went, and even the owner of Borderlands 3 was like, yeah, if there's any more certain type of jokes in these games, I will cry real tears. So they're trying to pull back on a lot of narrative theatrics when it comes to comedy and try to keep it more story based. So hopefully that will turn out to be good, but keeping that one kind of like an iffy statement. But it's definitely going to get bought. It's definitely going to get played.
I felt the least excited for a new Borderlands game that I have in a while after watching this. I mean,
yes,
I never finished Borderlands 3, and mostly because my team kind of fell apart. We just stopped getting together on Fridays, but I feel like this didn't bring a whole lot new to the table, and I'm wondering if I'm just running out of the formula. But I thought of Zack when I saw this, because I remember they also said something to the effect of hiring or outsourcing writers for the comedy portions of this, kind of what Jacob was saying.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be less pop culture stuff, and it's going to be, more like Jacob said, more about the story, and there'll be jokes and things like that, but it's not going to be all the pop culture stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the comedy is fine and whatever, but it just they focused so much on the comedy in 3 that even in moments that were supposed to be a little heartfelt, they were trying to shove in comedy. And it just didn't work out, and it actually left a bad taste in a lot of players' mouths. But that's, there's always two sides of the same coin, always. But some people loved it, some people didn't.
Right. I'd rather eat a lit stick of dynamite than play this game. So no interest from me.
Yeah, I assumed as much, but
I do appreciate the narrative director is aware that things have gotten out of hand. That's nice to hear.
Yes.
I think he said something effective, a skibbity toilet reference makes it into the game, he's gonna cry.
Yeah,
that's nice.
That was the quote.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wouldn't want that. That's, I don't know. There's been so many jokes and so many different things that are already in the universe. We can pull it back a little.
Dude, you don't work in a middle school. that is just like an interjection at this point. It's just like kids to just say it like it's like it means something.
I went to GameStop the other day, and they have like a paperweight of the skibbity toilet with a guy's head coming out of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure it'll be a joke somewhere.
Yeah, we're old guys. Split Fiction, the new game from Hazelight, comes out March 6th. I love it when games are announced and then they come out 3-4 months later. And I don't know, this looks fun, man. We had fun with It Takes Two.
Yeah.
This could be another one, dude.
I mean, it looked like more It Takes Two, which sure, I'm in.
Yeah, totally. Have to do their joint review.
That was fun. A little co-op
I was
review.
so proud of that idea, and like nobody appreciated it, but you and me, I think.
I don't know. I thought it was clever.
clever,
Surely
too.
somebody at Hazelight was like, "Oh, that's neat."
Maybe.
Dude, maybe Yosef Fares himself was like, "This is maybe he was cussing up a storm about how proud he was of seeing that review." Who knows?
He's waiting for the review on this one.
Yeah, probably.
But it looks cool. Like it's a story where one of the players that you play as is a fantasy writer, the other is a science fiction writer. They get mashed into these worlds together, and they have to kind of navigate through them in
Right.
fun ways.
It seems like a corporation is stealing ideas from writers, but
Yeah.
they accidentally get mashed into their AI simulation together. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it was ahead of its time, and the corporations using AI to steal the world of fiction writers.
like when they started making this game.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
they had it.
Yeah. Zach?
I thought the Witcher 4 trailer was excellent. I'm gonna try the Witcher 3 again.
Oh yeah.
And that's what this trailer got me to do.
Okay.
They had the complete edition on sale for $10. I picked it up. I don't know when I'll get to it. I probably have like 6 years before this game comes out.
Yeah.
But
you got plenty of time.
but I love I love The Witcher 2. The Witcher 3 was just overwhelming. But I think I know. I can handle longer games better now.
Okay.
It just takes a while. That's it.
I'm curious because I hear that the way that game ends makes what happens in The Witcher 4 make sense. That everybody is all upset about on the internet this week.
Nobody, only the dumb people are. Even I know that The Witcher 3 ends with like Geralt retiring.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, they also, when they announced The Witcher 4 3 or 4 years ago, they said it was not going to be Geralt.
Yeah.
So,
They said it was not going to be. They didn't say it was going to be Ciri. They just
Right.
said it was not going to be Geralt. But what other character is recognizable?
Yeah.
In that universe.
As soon as I read not Geralt, I assumed Ciri. So
we
it's
all
like,
did.
yeah,
I don't even play that game that much.
right. So it's just the internet age we live in, where the idiots talk really loud.
Dude, I had a whole speech prepared because my Twitter feed is just full of vitriol for what's happening in the industry, and I had this whole. I almost wrote it out. I was just like really angry, but
yeah, but
I'll let it lie.
if you give those people oxygen, then the fire keeps burning.
Yeah,
It's better to just
Pretty
ignore
much.
them. They're meaningless anyway. That's why they're screaming so loud. If you are complaining that Ciri is the main character of The Witcher 4, you are not a Witcher fan anyway.
that's a good point.
Isn't the original book series or something like it switches characters?
Yeah,
And that goes back.
From what I read, all of the stories revolved around Ciri anyway. Even if like Geralt was the main character, like the franchise is built around Ciri. So these people are idiots, is what I'm saying. Anyway,
They're not true fans.
I don't know. I'm giving them oxygen.
Bunch of nerds.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to Jacob. Jacob, what next on the list looks interesting to
Turok
you?
Origins.
This is going to be the one I was going to say. So,
I'm so sorry. I'll pick something else.
No, you're picking.
no.
We'll team effort it. The third person aspect of this game, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. It's going to change a couple of things in the game because I'm so used to playing, the original Turok and then whatever all of the Turoks in first person, and it gave I don't know, the jumping always scared me because anytime you had to do the Turok is the reason why I do parkour now. Like I no one plays enough games with me. They don't understand. If I'm playing any game and for some reason I have to stand still, I will start jumping around. Kevin might have seen me. We played Enshrouded for a little bit, but I will jump around on things. And that's because Turok got me to do parkour for the first time in my little gaming life. And so like there was these little puzzles and stuff that you'd have to like jump on logs or jump on, certain, areas to get to. And I was always looking for my shadows in places because you couldn't see your feet. And I was always staring down. I didn't care. I was looking at the map and I was staring down.
That's all I did too.
So
the first Turok game.
I was terrified of falling. But now I'm, I'll like my wife hates me because we'll be playing like on a mountain or something in some random game, and I'm on the edge jumping from corner to corner to corner, and she's like, "Will you get down from there before you fall and we have to start over?"
Let me ask you guys something about this trailer. How soon until you realized or had the thought in your head that this might be a Turok game?
Very early.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I saw a hatchet and a dinosaur and like a velociraptor, I was like, "Are we getting a Turok game?"
Well, I think I said specifically because I was watching it with my wife. I think I was like specifically, I'm like, well, this can't be Turok, right? And then it was, and then when it cut to third person, I'm like, well, then it's definitely not Turok, right? Right? It seems like Turok. And then it was.
Well, as soon as they did like a close up of his face and he had like war paint on his face, I was like, "This definitely Turok."
Right. Well, it's like it's definitely Turok, and then it was third person. And I was like, so I guess it's not Turok.
Yeah.
But then it is. Yeah. But you know what? I just learned a valuable lesson about judging perspective shifts too early because Indiana Jones is a banger.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a mistake to make that game first person. I was dead wrong. So you know what? I'm just going to shut up and wait.
Part of the Turok games was the guns, like the weird guns that you'd pick up and you got to see them shoot and how they fired and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. I like that aspect of the game.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know if that's going to take away.
What was it? The cerebral bore? Is that the name of the gun? And
well, this is from the Warhammer Space Marine 2 guys. I think they're going to know that you need the cerebral bore.
Yeah.
So I think we're in good hands. Andy need the character to say, "I am Turok."
That has to be in there.
Essential.
This is co-op, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be nuts.
I think I might have read it was 3-player co-op, but I might be making that up.
Ooh.
But there's enough people right here in this chat.
Yeah, just saying. So I obviously was very excited about this announcement. And this is good. You guys are gonna laugh at me, but I got a little got the wind knocked out of me a little bit. Because right as soon as this announcement came on, I got an email.
Uh-huh.
I got an email with a press release on it offering me a review code. I'm like, if they're offering us a review code that quickly, how good is this game going to be? Is it sad that that's where my mind went?
Oh, see, to me, it speaks of confidence.
You think so?
Right, that's what I was going. Oh, we're finally moving up in the world, but
Right.
no, Scott's like, we suck.
Feeling like we're getting the word out soon because we know this game's gonna kick ass. That's how I would take it.
I hope so.
They should be riding high.
Getting that to IGN and stuff that early, sure, but
maybe they mix up their emails. In which case, just shh, quiet.
Yeah. I got the request in.
Yeah. Good.
So just a heads up, you're gonna be playing this on Xbox.
Well, you could play it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
All right, so boy, I'm gonna go next, and I am going to say the Game of Thrones game, King's Road.
How long did it take for you to realize this is a mobile game?
Wait, are you serious?
Oh no!
I wish
you
today
just
years
ruined
old
it for me.
Oh yeah, dude,
That's a mobile game for real?
Yeah, it's a mobile game.
Oh, never mind.
Ooh.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be the bearer of bad news.
I mean, I was gonna find out at some point, but
yeah, it was like I think it was almost halfway through the trailer where I was like, "There's something about the art style says mobile game to me." But then at the end, I had that Netmarble logo. I was like, "Mobile game." Yeah, dude, I'm sorry.
I thought this was a straight up action game, but
Yep.
I mean, and then they got like the actual voice actors from the.
I know, dude. What a
show.
waste. Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, well, never mind. That's no wonder nobody else is talking about this on other podcasts. I was like, why is nobody talking about this? Oh, 'cause it's a mobile.
Yeah, if it was just a game I paid money for, I got to play a Game of Thrones action RPG, I'd be all in. But knowing it's a Netmarble mobile game, I'm not going to pay like $30 to continue the game, or I'm not going to pay piecemeal per weapon or whatever the hell I'm going to have to do. No, thank you.
Right. But man, how cool is it like getting another story with a new character that takes place during the events, and you get to see some of the same characters. I was all excited, and man, hear that music again.
Right. As long as they stop around season 6 or 7, I'm all good. Can't go any further than that.
All right, Zach, you're up.
Well, speaking of Game of Thrones, little George R.R. Martin action, I can't believe you guys aren't talking about Elden Ring at Night Rain coming next year. New Elden Ring. I thought after Shadow of the Erd Tree, when I finished Shadow of the Erd Tree, my thought was, I'm done with Elden Ring, dude. Like, this is a lot of this game. I've played so much of it. You know, it's burned out.
Yeah.
I'm moving on. And then they show this Night Ring trailer. I'm like, good. I'm so happy I don't have to care about this because I'm Elden Ringed out. And then I heard roguelike Elden Ring. Buddy, I'm right back in. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh yeah.
I'm all in.
I
I'm so up to it's a you play it solo or you can play in 3-player co-op. You're trying to just survive 3 nights against bosses, and you get to fight like a big old boss at the end, and you get little different run-based randomized weapons and relics each run. Sounds awesome. Sign me the hell up.
right.
I was not expecting to be that enthusiastic, but I was not understanding it was a roguelike. For some reason, I had Battle Royale in my head.
Yeah, it does have like
Oh,
a
God.
circle that's coming in around you and your team as you're killing enemies, so it definitely got that Battle Royale flavor. But if you read like the actual write-ups, it's a run-based randomizer, baby. I can't wait. Just do. I don't have a lot of friends that play Elden Ring, but I'm sure I could find some people in our community. Play
Mike
some co-op.
does. You can play with him.
Yeah, there you go. And there's a lot to. I think the idea of From Software roguelike sounds hella cool.
Jacob plays from games too.
Well, good. There we go.
So you got from there.
We're becoming closer, Jacob and I.
Right. I
What
learned
an
so much
interesting
about you,
direction
man.
to go with that series, though. Like, who would have saw that coming?
Yeah, I mean, you had to do something to follow up Elden Ring. You sold 25 million copies or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely didn't expect a fun new spin on it. So does that mean, Jacob, are you excited for this or no?
See, this goes back to the idea of like I'm hesitant
Yeah.
because I like Elden Ring. I don't know how it's gonna do well with changing genres, but
I think
I mean it could be great.
the idea for me, because I feel like whenever, like when I play through Elden Ring, I found like the one weapon that worked for me and I just stuck with it for 80 hours and, rode that out. But the idea of like, I'm just going to have to adjust to whatever I randomly get from the game, that sounds pretty fun. Because you're going to be put in
Yeah.
a lot of uncomfortable positions and you're just going to have to figure it out. That sounds great.
I usually like it when a game adds a rogue like section to the game. The Division 2 added one, and I was having a blast with it. My wife hated it because she got used to the weapons that she was using in her little build and whatnot. And then when you strip that away, so yeah, I can understand the hesitant of like, well, I've never used this weapon before, so I don't know how well I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's part of the excitement is
Yeah.
getting in there and oh, well, this run's going to suck because I have this weapon and I'm not used to it. And okay, I want to figure it out. And then by the time you're like on your 7th run, you're like, oh, I could use everything.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, you know what? I love great axes, actually. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to.
No, but yeah, I'm not sure. But it's been a quite a big discussion in the house whether it's going to be good or not. But again, it's probably one of those things that'll be purchased and played whether it's good or bad.
Right. And it's coming out at a discount price. They said $50. That's
Oh,
something.
that's a discount.
Well, in this day and age, my friend, it sure is.
$20 cheaper than standard at this point.
When they also confirm no microtransactions, season passes, or DLC. So it's just you just get the game.
The
Nice.
normal Elden Ring experience. Great.
Hey man, that's not a guarantee when you say multiplayer.
Yeah.
That's true. That scares.
Jacob, your pick is next.
I don't remember seeing anything about Den of Wolves, but it's made from the makers of Payday 2.
Yeah,
and
that's what Scott was referencing
that
earlier.
Yeah.
scares the hell out of me because Payday 3 flopped hard.
Dude, I tried to get into Payday and I could not get into it.
Well, good news. The Payday 2 guy did not make Payday 3. He made GTFO.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's good.
Yeah, so
But I had lots of fun with Payday 2, running around using different ways to break into banks and all that kind of nonsense. And then Payday, I didn't want to play Payday 3. I didn't want to start that all over again, but my kid did. And he got into it for probably a couple of hours. And there were issues with loading. There was issues with levels, issues with basically just all the way around. It was not a very good launch of a game. And that's why they fell off extremely hard. I think they have like a concurrent playlist of like 250 players. That's terrible. They dumped the game within a week. They don't do any more updates to it. So it kind of scared me seeing, makers of Payday 2. Oh, this is just gonna be another one of those games that just dies off really quick. But I mean, we'll see. If it plays more like Payday 2, I'll have a lot of fun because that was kind of zany and fast and whatnot. But who knows?
I tried so hard to like Payday 2. I really did. Multiple times. Could not get into it.
Must have been the crew you were playing with.
Maybe that's what I need. But again, I just would rather play single player games. But that's me.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dispatch, I thought looked interesting. I could hear Zack's eyes rolling at the comedy in this trailer, I think. But I thought it looked funny.
I did not think it looked terrible.
No? Okay. So
I
whole concept...
I did think it was a little cringy watching Aaron Paul and Laura Bailey almost bang each other on the stage. That was a little awkward.
That was so uncomfortable.
Dude, what was going on there?
They kept getting their faces kept getting closer.
Dude,
and
they were
closer.
staring into each other's eyes, man. I really thought we were about to watch them have their first kiss. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
dude. Oh my god, I feel bad for.
But
their
the
partners.
game looks super interesting. This whole idea of dispatchers of superheroes, and like the whole thing just takes place in the dispatch office, which is a clever idea. And I laughed out loud a couple times in that trailer. I think it looks, and it's got a lot of the developers from like the original Telltale games are in on that, so maybe we could get some good games like that again.
So how many Telltale like games can we get before The Wolf Among Us 2?
Yeah, right. That's a good point.
Yeah,
speaking of, I know it sounds like we might be skipping over it, but I gotta mention, as much as I probably won't play the Outer Wilds 2, I freaking love that trailer.
Outer Worlds is that hit indie game.
Sorry, Outer Worlds 2.
Pretty confusing name. I get it though.
But that whole idea of like, from the studio that brought you all these great sequels.
Yeah.
And then
Fallout 3 Part 2, New Vegas.
And then New Vegas.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really funny.
The trailer was very, very charming.
It was my favorite trailer in terms of being clever.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very cleverly put together trailer. So, Zack, you're next.
Yeah, well, it is neat that Virtua Fighter's coming back, though ultimately I won't care. But Project Century, this game in Japan in 1915, this looked awesome, exceptional. I think
this
it was
the Yakuza people, right?
Yeah, Yakuza people, not a Yakuza game, but it's like a period piece, and the combat looked a lot more considered than their other games. It didn't seem it didn't seem as over the top as the Yakuza games. Uh-huh. And also, you're not killing people in Yakuza, and this dude was just murdering everybody. It was pretty cool.
Like blood splattering in all directions.
Yeah, he was going for it. This is a really fun surprise. I can't wait to play this. This is probably my second favorite trailer of the show. It really sparked my imagination about getting into that world. I'm really looking forward to this. There's not enough period pieces, I don't think. And like 1915 Japan, like what a strange setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Japan
is either contemporary or Edo period, right? When you get it. So this is a nice turn of the 20th century kind of story. That sounds cool, man. I'm
also
excited.
How many people are on that development team? Don't they have like
right? They just put out a JRPG last March. They're putting out a pirate game this March. They have Virtua Fighter coming. Yeah, Project Century. Like, what the hell's going on over there?
There's just so many things going on at one time, and they all look like quality. I mean, I'm not gonna play the pirate Yakuza thing, but a lot of people are excited about that. Like, and those aren't short games.
That's the surprising part. I mean, they do often take place in the same locations, so they're not building a new map every time. But there's still just like here's 60 hours worth of content.
Yeah,
right. That last game had a whole Animal Crossing mode that was apparently 40 hours long if you wanted to do everything. Like, it's insane.
It's kind of crazy. All right,
unbelievable.
Jacob.
Well, I'm almost gamed out, but I think Warframe 1999 looks awesome and weird and a little bit crazy. They are the best sellers of their own game. They actually spliced the Warframe 1999 inside of the actual Warframe game as something that you needed to do to progress another mission, and so you kind of played a demo of it inside Warframe before it even made it to its actual demo. But it looks fun. But if it's Warframe again, I'm not gonna be sinking that much time or money into it. If it's free, I might give it a shot. I think it's gonna be, but man, I've already spent the last 10 years playing Warframe with God knows how many hours actually dumped into that game. And so no, I don't want to start. And Warframe is still thriving. Warframe is still going. So adding another Warframe game, pick between the two of them, which one you like more. I'm going to probably stick with Warframe. I've already got so many hours and so much work and so many items in that one. Why start over?
Yeah,
I don't. You started Diablo 4.
No. I gave that one another chance. I played it for a little bit, but I don't know. I got frustrated with how their difficulty system is with Diablo 4 and gave that one up again.
Okay, so I'm going to mention Okami sequel. Did anybody see this coming?
No.
Just kind of shocking. And Zack and I were talking a little bit through text. Like that game's the original is like $5, or the original HD remake is like $5 on Xbox right now. And I've never played it, and people have told me I need to play it because it seems very Zelda-y.
Right.
And then I saw it was like 30 hours, and I was like, huh.
Yeah. But that's about the length of a Zelda, right? Or a 3D Zelda?
Yeah, but that's Zelda.
Right. I understand.
You know what I mean? Like,
but this is like Zelda, but with a dog, dude.
So it's Twilight Princess?
Right. If you really like the wolf sections of Twilight Princess, have I got the game for you?
Yeah. You're gonna like this. So I don't know. I might still do that, but again, backlog. I don't need to. Part of me wants to just pay the $5 just to have it in my collection so that I can like come back to it at some point.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I may have to.
I mean, just to have it. Yeah, I feel like I've started this game like 5 times, and it has a hard time trusting you to play it, from my recollection.
Yeah,
a little bit of that plucky squire energy.
Oh, they got an update for that.
So maybe Okami. But yeah, I think I'm going to try to revisit it and just try to be a little more patient with it, because to try to see what everyone's always talking about.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it has to do with the art style and the fact that you're playing a dog.
People are obsessed with dogs, no doubt.
I get it, but doesn't just automatically make it an awesome game.
Seems to automatically make the Superman trailer good. That's what I keep hearing about, is a freaking dog.
I heard somebody say the same thing. So,
yeah.
Zack.
Well, can't believe. Well, I guess since we're talking about Okami, first of all, well, back it up. Kamiya going back to Capcom, man. That's a big deal.
Kamiya.
Hideki Kamiya, the creator of Devil May Cry, director of Resident Evil 2, founder of Platinum Games, leaves Platinum, goes back to Capcom, make an Okami sequel. It's kind of big.
Yeah.
It's kind of like big news. That's it. I guess it's not. You guys don't give a
studio called Clovers.
Clovers, yeah, the sequel to Clover, I guess. Maybe he pulled a James Cameron and put a $sign in the S.
Oh my goodness.
But speaking of Capcom revivals, Onimusha Way of the Sword got announced from Capcom. That's exciting. No date on that, so expect to see that in like 2028. I don't know.
That's a blind spot in my gaming history. I've never played an Onimusha game.
Yeah, I've never played one either, but as soon as I saw like the floating red soul, I was like, Onimusha?
Yeah.
Like, what? And then once they started getting sucked into the gauntlet, I was like, holy shit, they're doing a new Onimusha? So, I'm excited. I've had the PS4 remaster of the first game for years and just have never played it. So I guess I should.
Got it when it was $5 and decided I'll get to it someday.
Yeah, but the difference is Onimusha is like 5 hours long.
Oh yeah.
So that's a doable game.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised by that. Even though I haven't played the game, like they're doing another Onimusha,
right?
Like 3 of them.
I mean, Capcom's riding such a high right now. They're like, we can do no wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, if they do a new Onimusha, like, kind of tight on the shoulder, like a little bit of like a modern Resident Evil action,
Yeah,
that could be cool.
it'd be cool. Mafia, the old country. We got to see some more of that. I feel like this is going to be the year of the turn of the century setting.
Oh, the Gear of the Bow.
Yeah, like that's like 3 games on this list that are all like in the early 1900s, isn't it?
What was the other one?
The one you just talked about that took place in Japan.
No, yeah, and then Mafia.
Mafia. I thought there was another one. Maybe I'm imagining
Yeah,
it.
there is. I mean, I'll take all the period pieces I can. I'm in.
Yeah. I've never played the Mafia game, so I can't like say I'm super stoked for it, but I just love that it exists. And I there's something about that character, with the hat, and he just seems like he's
With
not like he's not like super confident, but he's still a badass. Like I don't I'm intrigued by that whole. I want to know what the story is that's going on there. Like there's going to be so much like betrayals and backstabbings, and you know what I mean?
This is a game of the show for me, Mafia: The Old Country.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love Mafia. Mafia 3 was a game I bought the collection edition for. I took days off of work to play Mafia 3. Dude, the game ultimately disappointed quite a bit, but I love Mafia. So this is very exciting for me. They this is supposed to go back to more Mafia 1 and 2, where it's very mission structured. Like because Mafia 1 and 2, they built an open world, but you didn't really explore it. It was still just story focused. You just went from story beat to story beat. And they would have like a free roam mode you could pick from the menu. But this is apparently going back
LA
to that.
Noire?
Yes, yeah, kind of like LA Noire, absolutely. So this is going back to that. That's very exciting to me because Mafia 3 had a very good story. It was just bogged down by a very repetitive mission structure. So, dude, I'm jazzed about Mafia: The Old Country.
All right.
Yeah, I love Mafia. Is so good, dude. You get speeding tickets in those games. Awesome.
We're going like 35.
Yes, yeah. If you could push your car to the max and go 35. Dude, what's funny in this trailer? They're like watching horses outrun the one car they had. Like, it's pretty good. Yeah, I think this will be great.
Well, there's one big one. Do we want to? Are there any others you want to mention before we get to the?
No, I did think it was funny that they announced a new Sonic racing game by just Shadow turning on a key. I was like, what? Why do we even bother? It's so weird.
Oh man! And speaking of, like, the Sonic movie came out today, as of this recording, Sonic 3, and
Best reviewed movie of the trilogy.
is it?
Yeah.
I guess I better go watch 2 again or finish 2.
Whatever. Get out of here.
But it's funny, like, you can already pre-order the movie, like the physical copy of the movie. Like I got a notification from Wario64 today. You could pre-order the 4K. Like, remember, like you couldn't even like you wouldn't even think about buying a movie until like a month and a half after it was out of the theater.
Yeah, I was gonna say the standard practice now is that the Blu-ray goes on pre-order the day the movie comes out.
Who's buying a movie before they know they like you haven't seen it yet?
Well, it turns out, according to Best Buy, nobody's buying Blu-rays anyway.
Yeah.
It's just me, apparently.
Yeah.
A bunch of 70-year-old dudes, I guess.
Any others stand out to you, Zach?
No, dude, just the grand finale.
Yeah,
Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. The new Naughty Dog game.
I know you hate ones where we don't get any gameplay, like it's just all CG or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I really like how this introduced whatever this game is. There was so much intrigue in this trailer.
Yeah.
And the number one thing that intrigued me is whatever is going on with that moon that like exploded in the middle of a spiral or whatever.
Yeah.
That whole thing, that I just was looking at that going, I want to know what happened. Like I just thought that was so cool, man.
Well, I thought the trailer did a very good job of getting me interested.
Okay. I really was not expecting that.
Well, when it's like a new IP and you do a CG trailer, I'm like, okay, great. Usually, like you've told me nothing. But with
Uh-huh.
Naughty Dog, two things. One, with Naughty Dog, I can trust them. They haven't
Mhm.
let me down ever. And two, with how good Naughty Dog's games look, that could have been an engine for all I know.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but as for the game, yeah, absolutely. The stuff with the moon sounded cool. I like that she is wanting to find this guy no matter the cost. And I really appreciated that she was like really tough to her boss dude. And then like
Mhm.
she kind of had to like got nervous and then had to psych herself back up a little bit to get
Mhm.
to this moon that no one's ever escaped from. That was like a nice little character beat, and that was like, yes, the Naughty Dog storytelling is here. Understood.
They also really like Akira.
Sure.
That trailer had so many nods to Akira.
Well, the ship gave me more Bebop vibes personally.
Oh, they had Porsches in
No,
Cowboy
just
Bebop?
this kind of the look of the spaceship gave me. Did they have Porsches in Akira?
No, it just like it was like very obviously said Porsche on the back of the spaceship. Like we live in a universe that, really likes the 80s and has
Yeah.
Porsches in space.
So this is a question that I want to ask you, a music fan, because everyone keeps saying 80s, but then I see a CD,
90s.
which would be 90s, right?
Yeah, 90s. I
Because
think
I
the
even
shoes especially were 90s.
I really had to go crazy because everyone kept saying 80s online, but I got 90s from the trailer, and I had
I
to.
almost corrected myself when I said 80s, but yeah, you're right.
Well, we are obsessed with the 80s right now. That's why I needed to look up that the CD was not the dominant music format until 1992.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
So if you use CDs, it feels auto 90s.
You're right.
Okay. No, I'm not trying to correct you. I'm just confused why everybody else keeps saying 80s. This is just because.
I think because I don't remember when what was this? Everyone was crazy about the song, and I admit I did not know the song that
Okay.
she played. So I couldn't even tell you if that was 80s or 90s, but
Felt like it should have been
maybe.
BC Boys, right? Probably is what they should have gone with.
I don't know. I just am like, and I kind of love that the only action we got was like one slice at whatever that creature was that she attacked, and then like just then we get the name of the trailer,
Right. And
or
I
the name of
thought
the game.
her sword looked cool, which
Yeah,
is an important part of any kind of sword game. It did kind of have, kind of like 90s anime vibe to it, I guess, which is cool. And I know,
yeah. Clearly, I mean,
and I know they cited Akira and Cowboy Bebop as reference points, but this is kind of the energy you got from the trailer. I don't know, dude. I'm all in.
which is intriguing because I mean, look at what we've had from Naughty Dog for the past how many years? We've had Indiana Jones adventures.
Right.
We've had dark, depressing, post-apocalyptic,
Right.
and now we're going sci-fi.
And then we've had
Like-
remakes of post-apocalyptics and remasters of post-apocalypse.
Yeah.
But now, sci-fi, or I guess this would be their first sci-fi since Jack 3 many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
But don't worry, that'll be a playable game on a PlayStation somewhere
Hell yeah.
in the game. That's going to happen, right? It has to.
Well, she would have to boot up a PS1, right? If they're going for that 90s vibe.
Yeah.
She'll
That
be-
was a PS2 game.
Right. Yeah. But
There's a bunch of CDs on the ship. I could assume that she might have a PS1 or
right.
what is
Well,
that,
it's got Sony branding.
Or she could emulate it. Just saying.
Well, and I like that I feel like we're kind of inundated in big space games, but reading the PlayStation blog write-up, this is a very small space game. They made it sound like the whole game is just on that moon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because no one's
That
ever,
actually gets me more excited.
I agree. That 100%. They said they're taking the premise is that no one's left that orbit in 600 years or something like that, but she's chasing that guy there anyway. And then
Kumail Nanjiani.
and then it sounds like the way they were talking about it, it sounds like that's the game is on that moon, which sounds cool. You're going to learn a lot about it, whatever the hell.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I want to learn more about that moon. I want that to be like a big reveal about like what happened.
Yeah,
And I'm just like so looking forward to that.
I assume there will be heavy religious themes based on the name, and that could be pretty exciting. The heretic
Mhm.
prophet, I'm very excited. This looks great. Absolutely.
I'm 100% excited. I can't wait to see what that game is, and I want to play it right now.
Dude, and I like Tati Gabrielle from what I've seen her in. I watched Sabrina the 100, and she was in You as well.
I didn't see either. I didn't recognize her.
Yeah, so she is.
I just recognized the bounty that she was after.
Yeah, I've never seen her in a leading role, but I like her.
Cool.
So.
Well, let's go on and see what the community thought. We're gonna start over on Facebook. Noe Brown says we asked our community what games they were most looking forward to, or what they liked from the Game Awards. Noe Brown said Borderlands 4, the new game from the people who made It Takes Two. He's giving two different games that he was excited for there. Split Fiction. Yep. Zach?
Sure. Sean Coates writes in, I didn't watch the entire ceremony. Not sure how much cringe I could have handled if I watched the whole thing. But I watched a clip package of all games announced and another clip package of winners. I'm glad Astrobot won, as if I needed another reason to play it. I'm looking forward to Mafia Old Country. Yet, every year we talk about the Game Awards, it makes me wish the ceremony was more focused on the actual achievements rather than being a media spectacle and an excuse to announce new games. Sean,
I feel like we need two different events.
Yeah, I do kind of wish there was like I know DICE kind of takes itself a little more seriously.
Yeah.
But I wish another place that took the award seriously kind of found some kind of financial backing to actually make people want to watch it, like make it kind of kind of market around it, or make it a little bit more of a spectacle, because that's the only way you're going to get people to watch it, because the only reason you get 150 million viewers is because of the trailers.
Yep.
No one's going to tune in for the awards. As much as I would love that show if it was just awards, it's just not going to happen. But it's good to know Sean has good taste with Mafia Old Country. He knows what's up.
And by the way, Sean, since writing that post, has purchased Astrobot and is playing it and loving it. You're actually going to hear about that when he talks about the other game that he's been playing later on. Or you heard about it earlier in this episode.
Hard not to love Astrobot. Although, Sean, if you had watched, pretty low on the cringe, actually.
I agree.
The cringiest thing were Jeff's sparkly shoes.
I didn't notice his shoes.
Oh, and you know what? The musical performances. What the hell were they doing there? But otherwise,
I don't know, man. That one dude that plays like every instrument on every song.
The orchestra thing is great. I'm talking Snoop Dogg and that other band.
Oh, yeah. I didn't really pay attention. I think that's when I went up to go to the bathroom.
Smart.
Yeah. Good choice. Good timing.
Jake, you want to get the next comment?
Yep. Bill Gardner, Witcher 4 and the new Elden Ring were my highlights. Astrobot winning was an obvious choice.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Jason West says, been watching every year. This was not very entertaining. I was not impressed with the majority of the world premieres. Oh well. 2025 not looking too good. I heard everyone is scared of GTA 6 and won't announce any AAA games until they know the GTA 6 release date. I bet Switch 2 dominates the awards next year. Ooh, that's a bold statement.
Jason, do you not have a pulse? Dude, 2025 looks unbelievable. I'm worried I'm not going to have time to play all the games I want to play.
Seriously, I'm kind of in the same boat. I kind of felt weird reading that out loud.
2025. Oh my god, dude! There's like already games that you got, like South of Midnight. You got Clair Obscure Expedition 33, GTA 6, Mafia Old Country. These are just games off the top of my head. Like, Split Fiction looks great. The hell is this guy? Jason
Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden. Jason, come on, man.
All right, Zach.
Izzy Cosio writes, I wanted Metaphor to win, and I'm happy it took home 3 wins. But at the end of the day, Astrobot deserved it, and the only people that are mad at those that so perpetuate the console wars didn't play the game or are flat out butthurt that their pick didn't win. I'm also very excited for Intergalactic, because Naughty Dog doesn't miss, and I am a huge fan of Trent Reznor.
Yeah, he's doing the music.
I forgot Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are doing the soundtrack. I don't know who those people are. I thought Trent Reznor was a film composer. No,
Trent Reznor is. Oh my God! Why can't I think of the band name, Jacob?
I thought didn't he do like the Social Network score, stuff like that?
Yes, but he's also in a massively huge band from like the late 90s, early 2000s.
So big you don't know the name?
It is. I wasn't allowed to listen to it. Like when I was a kid.
Wait.
9 Inch Nails?
9 Inch Nails. Thank you.
Oh, he's from 9 Inch Nails, huh?
Like he is 9 Inch Nails.
No, well, who's Atticus Ross then?
Isn't he the other half? I don't know the name Atticus
All
Ross.
right. Well, okay. Well, they said his name alongside Trent Reznor like they were equally a big deal.
Shows my
Anyway,
Shows what I know.
I gotta play Metaphor. No one's shutting up about Metaphor, man. I feel like every podcast I listen to is like, dude, Metaphor.
You're just gonna do it?
One of these. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. When would I
Over on Discord.
Yes, he is also the other part of 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, okay.
He is.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for educating me about the 9 Inch Nails.
Well, he started doing 9 Inch Nails in 2005, so he wasn't an OG, but
Atticus or Trent?
Atticus. Trent Reznor is like
He is 9 Inch Nails.
9 Inch Nails. Yeah.
Okay.
So
They
very
did
unique style.
They did the score to the movie Queer that I saw the other day.
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah.
not seen that.
It's pretty good. Yeah, continue.
Who's up? Jake?
Thomas Bex writes, I was pleasantly surprised with Astrobot winning. From what I've heard, that game is a deserving winner. It did spark an unusual conversation in different gaming discords, though. There were some saying that they never heard about the game. No one in their gaming groups have ever mentioned the game, while others said the game was very much the subject of conversation because it was that good. Has anyone else experienced this as well?
I have not.
I don't think I've ever
not heard of it.
Right.
I think. Go ahead, Jacob. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Maybe that's just the company we keep, because we're all a little bit more inundated in the industry. We all hear about it. Everyone hears about it, whatnot. And so, I don't know, maybe that's just a thing, but
I think this is a product of the internet catering to you. Like me not having learned Trent Reznor was 9 Inch Nails all this time, despite knowing the name from film. Like, I think the internet is so algorithmically catered to you. So if they don't think you're going to care about a 3D platformer, I don't think they're not going to feed you a way for you to have learned about it.
That's a good point.
Yep. Might be true.
Siri is listening
constantly. they got your number.
Everything.
They know how to get you.
Over on Discord, Jackie-san says, I got to attend in person last year. It was a blast. Work was crazy this month, so I did not get to go. I watched it live, though. Good show. One of the best. I felt the timing of everything was pretty good. I was not bored. Tons of great new game announcements. Onimusha? So I had a good time. Astrobot is great, but it ain't no Dragon Age Veilguard. Just saying. You mean that game that wasn't nominated?
Roasted.
I have nothing against the game. I have not played it. I just I don't know.
Such a spectrum. Some people absolutely love the show. Some people absolutely hate the show.
Yeah. I mean, that's everything, right?
Yeah,
that's not a general consensus ever.
I wonder if it has to do with the ratio of how many games you're excited for that got announced.
Maybe
it was in shoes.
But I was just excited that the presentation was better this year.
Yeah,
but it could be the sparkly shoes, Jake.
I'm just glad that there's no games coming out in 2025, so I can get caught up.
Yeah. I mean, I know people joke that 2024 had no games, but I don't even know how you can make that argument about 2025.
I don't either.
2024 had probably one good game a month, or at least one game that everybody wanted to play, and I think 2025 is looking to be relatively the same thing. As long as they space it out right, it should be an all right year.
It felt to me like 2024 had about 6 games a month I wanted to play, and I had to choose 2 of them. and then everything else is gone.
And then it's old news, and it's just like not worth playing anymore. Which sucks.
Well, it's still worth playing. It's just like, but 6 more games just came out.
Yep.
Jakey's a Dragon Age Veilguard fan. That's kind of nice to see.
Yeah,
that game's getting beat up, man.
I can't speak to it. I haven't played it. I've not played a Dragon Age game at all. So
I can't either.
Not even Origins.
Nope. I think I have a thing with.
Dude, it was Baldur's Gate 3 before Baldur's Gate 3. You hear me?
No.
Oh man.
I guess that would be Baldur's Gate 2, really. But Dragon Age Origins is very good. Very, very good.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
It's just something about that developer, man. Those games have not clicked with me.
BioWare?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, Mass Effect. That was their big shtick.
No,
not Mass Effect either.
I'm just going to jump to 2.
I think
you got to bite the bullet.
I think you would like Dragon Age Origins in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world, but there's no way for you to really play it anymore.
I played that game wrong for 17 hours of that game that I played.
You're not selling me on it. Because if there's a way to play it wrong, I'm going to find it.
What is it?
I didn't.
What do you mean by
I
playing
didn't
wrong?
know. I didn't know that the game wasn't a hack and slash.
No, it is.
So I was like mashing the bucket button the entire time.
Oh, because it does a KOTOR thing where it presents as real time, but really it's
yeah.
doing turns. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see how that.
I did not pick up on that right away.
Yeah.
And so I sat there the entire time just mashing the button. And all of a sudden, one time I don't know if I sneezed or I didn't push it. And my character just kept going, and I was like, "Oh, this is crap."
That's pretty funny. And then last comment is from Paul Hine, who says, Onimusha, hoping it comes to Steam, might need to take on a PlayStation. If not,
that's enough to get him to buy a PlayStation.
Surely, all the Capcom games go to PC, right?
Day and date?
I don't know. I'm just not educated enough.
Yes.
I feel silly. I feel like that's something I should know. But anyway, Paul, if the Resident Evil remakes came to PC right away, I see no reason Onimusha wouldn't. They've been on Xbox. I don't think PlayStation's got any kind of dog in the fight for Onimusha.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for the topic. Thank you to everybody that brought in their comments. I do appreciate it. Next week, that's a little misleading. Here's what's going to happen.
3 weeks from now.
Here's what's going to happen. Here at the Gaming Outsider, Tuesday is our normal recording date. And this year, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve both fall on Tuesday. And just because we would like to have a little bit of a break, we're going to take the next 2 weeks off. So we're not going to have a regular episode. So our next recording is going to be the first week of January. We're going to do our annual Game of the Year episode, where we bring in Grant Henry to talk about the games that we've picked, the games that you guys have picked, and the games that our contributing writers have picked for Game of the Year. But we're going to not leave you hanging with nothing. We're going to go into the Patreon library, and we're going to splice together some Patreon episodes, slap those together to give you guys some content, and hopefully entice you to subscribe to Patreon for future episodes. So this will be the last time you hear from us for a couple weeks outside of pre-recorded stuff. But stick around and keep an eye on the socials, because we're going to be asking you guys for your favorite games of the year. I'm putting together some Google Forms, and we want to get your top 10s. Grant is doing some magic math to kind of come up with some fun numbers, so stay tuned for that. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thanks so much for listening. This one was produced by Kevin Honigford, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. Once again, his website is stemagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Zach, any parting words or recommendations for our listeners?
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Spend time with your loved ones.
Love it. Jacob?
He stole my bit.
Joy is a bit now, is it?
Joy is
Merry Christmas. We can say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. No.
Whatever you would celebrate,
house.
whatever you're planning to do on some much-deserved time off, hopefully here sometime in the next couple weeks. All of us here at the Gaming Outsider would like to wish you a safe and wonderful season.
Happy
until next week.
non-denominational winter holiday.
There you go. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Jacob Gunderson, and we are the Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.